The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people. And welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Feel Good Friday, May 9th, 2025. This program starts now. Sports are happening all around us, and we're so incredibly lucky that we get a chance to chat about it. Obviously, the NBA and the NHL playoffs continued on last night with some magic taking place deep into the evening as the NHL had an overtime game on the West Coast. So that's a 1:32 a.m. call time if you were to watch the entirety of that game. We have somebody in the Thunderdome that actually did that and even tweeted about it about 2 a.m. And it is heartbroken by McJesus and the boys of the Oilers, who have now won 6 straight playoff games, which is a record in the NHL, after being down a significant amount. They've won 6 straight games after trailing. They've come back every single time. This is a gritty group. Obviously, we watched them do their thing in the playoffs in the run last year. We had them mic'd up. They had cameras in the locker room. McJesus is yelling at the boys. They thought last year was going to be the year. Is this the year that the Edmonton Oilers are the team of destiny? Is this the year that McJesus cements his name as not only one of the greats to ever play, but also a guy... That's tough for Jackie Aces. Jackie Aces had a great game.
He did.
That's Jack Eichel that just got absolutely demolished there at the blue line, okay? He was the best player on the ice for the Vegas Golden Knights the entire game. Just so happened to get a McJesus train on him in the OT. Bang, to lose the game. Now, that's tough for Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel will bounce back. Jackie Aces is a dog. Stoner also going to be able to bounce back. They think they got screwed because of a little bit of an ice pick that happened in overtime. Now, nonetheless, hockey is awesome, and that game was spectacular. I don't think a lot of people got to watch it, but we have somebody that did. Let's go to the toxic table. At Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Ty Schmidt, you've been a Vegas Golden Knights fan since the Vegas Golden Knights were created.
That's right.
You were born and raised in Iowa. I don't think you were a big hockey fan. You joined this program. We're all hockey fans. You didn't have a team. The Vegas Golden Knights become a team. You say, that's my team. Have a lot of success. You followed along. Last night, you stayed up until 2 a.m. to watch this overtime thriller against the Oilers. Your heart got broke after the Vegas Golden Knights had another lead and gave it up yet again. What was your thoughts on the game, and what is your thoughts on the NHL playoffs this year?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You know, you want to talk about heartbreaking. Listen, I try to watch as many of these games as I can, but you mentioned it. I mean, these West Coast start times when you know, hey, if this thing goes the distance or goes into overtime, like I think like 16 of the games so far in the NHL playoffs have, like we're looking at maybe a 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. finish here, which isn't great, but it was an incredible game. I mean, pick it up right here in the third period. Golden Knights are on the power play. Jackie Aces is just dancing with the puck. You mentioned it. He was the best player on the ice for most of the game. Look at that. Just a nice little one-timer apple to Victor Olofsson. 4-3. And again, the Golden Knights, it looked like the Oilers were going to kind of run away with it. And then we get an Alex Pietrangelo goal, tie it up 4-4. And this is all in OT. This is the one kind of the start of the play. You got Nicholas Waugh, who just nice little forecheck.
No, not a forecheck. Cross-check.
Cross-check.
Yeah, forecheck is defense on the ice.
Yep.
Cross-check is illegal, and he did it right to this guy's mouth.
Right to his mouth. Yeah.
I saw a lot of Vegas Golden Knights people saying, hey, what are we doing? That was a cross-check to the chicklets. I mean, that was clearly what that was.
And I get that. That's a game misconduct. He's gone. It's a 5-minute major. So, the Oilers were on the power play for 5 minutes here in overtime, which obviously is not great when you got guys like McJesus and Draisaitl on the ice. But Aiden Hill has 9 saves on the power play. I mean, just deflecting everything. And we're starting to think, okay, we get back to even strength here. Here we go. Not too long later, this is what a lot of Golden Knights fans were bitching about as well.
Including Lil Wayne.
Yep, including Lil Wayne. You got Braden McNabb, who just a classic ice pick here from, Victor Arvidsson right into the boards. He was down for a bit, and he also had to leave the game. He was done after this.
They blew it dead. And let's go to the back one half of the hammer. Dahn, Cowboys, Bubba Gumpino. They very rarely blow a play dead, and then no penalty is called in hockey, right?
Yeah, I didn't get an answer on why that happened. Maybe they thought he was injured is why they blew it dead, because they have been doing that lately in the playoffs. But that's stone cold right there, 10 times out of 10 penalty.
So they blow that dead. Everybody thinks a penalty is coming. Maybe the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be on a power play. Instead, the refs review it. No penalty called at all. Vegas Golden Knights fans say, we're screwed. We got screwed here. We had a 5-minute major. Now we have this particular situation. You don't give it to us. All of a sudden, it's even strength still. And then what happens, Ty?
Yeah, about a minute later, the Golden Knights, give away the puck, about center ice. And this guy, if you don't watch hockey,
this
McJesus fella, I'll tell you what, it looks like he's playing a different sport. Like we mentioned it multiple times. Jackie Aces was the best player on the ice last night, and he looked like an 8-year-old, trying to play defense against McJesus. Just sick, nice little saucer over to Draisaitl, and they end it. It really was. You go from thinking, hey, we're going to be on the power play. The Golden Knights have been excellent on the power play in the playoffs so far. And, they held Jackie Aces and Draisaitl scoreless through 3 periods. And then, it's just as the longer the game went on, you knew that their 2 best players were eventually going to get you. They did. Stoner, right after the game, goes over, taps his stick on, the referees, we're there looking at the monitors and just kind of lets them know, like, hey, this one's on you. Okay, that should have been a penalty. We should have been on the power play. And he was pissed post game too. I think we have the clip of what he said.
Pretty clear it's a penalty. His stick's between McNabb's legs. He sends him head first into the boards. Pretty clear-cut penalty in my eyes, and I think everybody's eyes, right? But it's hockey. You don't always get the calls, but it's unfortunate. Now we might be down a D-man, and we'll see tomorrow. But it's just a dirty play, and
yeah, and Coach Cassidy also he was pretty upset as well when it came to that situation.
Listen, Gord's looking at it. He blew it. He missed the call. I don't know what else to say. It's a can opener trip. It's a dangerous play. It's all those things, but it didn't get called, so you got to keep playing. Nabber is one of our guys that probably one of the most popular teammates in the room. So that is a tough part of playing through it. It's not as easy as it looks. We're human, right? But at the end of the day, that's the task in front of you when those calls happen or don't happen.
So players are up in arms. Coaches are up in arms. Lil Wayne was not happy either. The Knights did just get robbed. Watching it live, I'll be honest, just because everything's happening so fast, you kind of just like, oh, man, that's too bad. It looks like Braden McNabb may have broken his shoulder and he's going to be out for the rest of the playoffs. Like, I wasn't thinking, hey, we need a penalty because, it was so high stakes moving back and forth. But, yeah, a power play would have been huge there. Ultimately, the Golden Knights lose 2 at home, which isn't great. You mentioned it. The Oilers have come back in 6 consecutive games. But the Golden Knights have been here before. Colorado, I believe, in 2018, they came back from down 2-0. So this game was incredible. It really was. It was one. If you like playoff hockey, just unbelievable. The playoffs as a whole have been nonstop action really across the board.
Playoffs continue tonight. Leafs, Panthers. The Leafs currently up 2-0, which is a big surprise. Actually, was a part of the reason why we called yesterday holy shite Thursday. That game is on at 7 o'clock tonight on TNT. And then the Dallas Stars, Texas Hockey, take on the Winnipeg Jets, fresh off a thriller up in Winnipeg. One half of the hammer, Dahn, Cowboys, AP Tony's here. Gambling on these NHL playoffs seems to be tough. What are your thoughts?
It is tough because, there's away teams winning, there's home teams winning. Teams that have been hot, just trip out there's been a lot of comeback stuff like this. But as far as the overall odds to win the Cup, after last night, the Oilers are now your favorites to win the Cup at plus 300, followed by the Dallas Stars, who are up 1-0 on Winnipeg, which we just talked about. They're plus 325. And then you have a couple East teams following that up. The Canes, who lost last night to the Caps, they're now plus 450 to win the Cup, tied with the Leafs, who are up 2-0 on the Panthers. So those are your favorites right now to win the Cup. Canes might be a little bit surprising to a lot of people because I don't think they looked like the better team in each of those first 2 games against the Caps, but we will see moving forward.
Caps get a big win over the Canes last night, 3-1. Tom Wilson notches an apple and then an empty netter at the end. Obviously, the handsome menace from Washington is doing their thing. Capitals being the underdogs against Canes is crazy to me, just because of what the season has been for the Capitals. But
those
playoffs,
cup odds were crazy. Seeing that the Caps were so far down there, plus 1,100, that's good value for what that team is and what they've put together.
So that spot right there on that graphic, and if you go to the NBA one, plus 1,100 is where the Capitals are, which we like a lot. We like the Capitals. I mean, the Oilers, this might be their year. And obviously the odds are saying same spot there, plus 1,300 Pacers. I mean,
good value on both.
I mean, that's good value on both those teams that are playing great right now. The Pacers obviously take on the Cavs this evening on ESPN at 7:30, and then the Thunder take on the Nuggets at 10 o'clock tonight. Pacers are up 2-0 over the Cavs, and then Thunder Nuggets series is tied 1-1. We'll have Shams Charania joining us here in a matter of moments, get some updates on some news. This Golden State Warriors team without Steph last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves, I mean, they got smacked from the beginning there. Now, whenever Draymond gets his technical that everybody's talking about right now, and Draymond gave a quote about afterwards how everybody portrays him and everything, because he's had 5 now technicals in the playoffs. If he gets 7, he'll be suspended for a game. This is Draymond Green football. I mean, in my eyes, that's just how I view Draymond Green. Like, everyone saw this is going to happen. This was in the second quarter. It was 33-17 or something like that. So you're talking about just Minnesota dominating Golden State last night from beginning to end. And I think Anthony Edwards even had an ankle injury in the middle of this. They thought he was going to potentially be out. The whole place gets quiet. He comes back at the end of that thing. So with Golden State, I mean, there's a lot of question marks right now, and I think a lot of it revolves around the greatest shooter of all time, whether or not he's going to be able to make it back.
Yeah, T-Wolves last night went up 13-0 to start the game, and that was basically it. It was wire to wire. They won every single quarter. They were winning the entire game. Ant coming back, huge for the T-Wolves. They should be fine. But, yeah, without Steph, the Warriors just aren't the Warriors. I think we saw that in the spread of the game yesterday. I believe the T-Wolves were 10-point favorites after losing game 1 by 11 points. So without Steph, it's interesting. But there's still, I think if you're a Warriors fan, faith in the fact that Jimmy Butler's done it on his own essentially for years with Miami in getting it done, even though that is the East, and the West seems to be much, much better. The Draymond thing, look, he doesn't know what his arms and legs do, okay?
That has been kind of like the conversation a few different times.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. And the right side of his body gets fouled, so his left arm throws a bow. I mean, it just is a natural, because you see reach around, left arm, bang. It doesn't really make sense.
Unlucky.
I don't know how that happens.
Well, in jiu-jitsu, there's a moment where you get pushed on this side and the other side happens. But I would like to say this about this moment here. And Draymond Green felt the need to address it, about how everybody says I'm an angry black man. I'm not an angry black man. I'm actually very smart and all these things, which he is. He's part of the new media. I love his show. I love the way he's handled. He's been a champion. He's made a lot of money. He's out of Michigan State. He's a graduate. Like, everything that he has done, I think, would indicate. So there must be people saying things to Draymond Green. Let's make sure we have some respect for Draymond Green being Draymond. This is just Draymond Green football. Like, in my eyes, that is literally how I view it. Just like in football, there are guys on teams that's like, Tom Wilson on the Capitals. Like, that's Tom Wilson football.
Yes.
Draymond Green has been Draymond Green since the beginning. So I don't like the fact that he feels obligated to defend himself and say, but that's only because I assume there's a lot of people that say that thing about him. He is an asset to that Golden State Warriors team, has been since the beginning, and every once in a while situations like this are going to happen, is how I view, as an outsider of the NBA world, the Draymond Green experience in the NBA.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Fauci, if you can go to where Steph Curry's talking to him, I think that's why people like to pile on, because, of course, the coaches are going to say stuff and things like that. But when you see Steph Curry do it, I think that's when people kind of say, like, hey, even Steph is going over and saying, like, hey, Draymond, you need to calm down. I'm pretty sure the broadcaster said, hey, Draymond should just go back to the locker room after this to calm down, because they don't show it in this clip. Here comes Steph to kind of tell him, like, hey, relax. It's the second quarter. We're okay. We still need you in this game.
Just real quick, though, Draymond Green, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, has already been a champion. The fact that he's this passionate never gets talked about.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he's this invested, this is who he is. Like, this is his style of play. And I don't know. I don't like that he felt obligated to answer that, because that means that that's what people are saying about him. It's like, this is how some people compete. This is how some people are professional. It happens in every sport. Like, and I hate to just say it again, but like Tom Wilson for the Washington Capitals, he's on the line. He is an enforcer. There's going to be a little dance. I mean, last night with the little toe pick on the thing, it's like Draymond. This is what Draymond Green has done, and I think the Golden State Warriors have benefited from Draymond Green being this since the beginning of his time out there with the Warriors.
For sure, but now they're getting close to where he's going to miss a game. If you remember,
two more texts.
Yeah, if you remember in the, I believe it was the finals. Yeah, where he got the tech limit and he had to miss a game, and that was a huge conversation. I believe they ended up losing that game.
That was the 3-1 comeback year with LeBron.
With the Cavs, yeah. Now they're getting to the point where, hey, Steph's out. We need you now more than ever because of how great you are, not just on defense now. He's making shots. He's playing probably some of the best basketball on offense we've seen in the past few years, and now, unfortunately, he's nearing that line of, hey, you're going to get suspended for a game.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who might have a little bit more intel on what Steve Kerr says to Draymond Green after something like this, or Steve Kerr says about what's happening with Steph Curry, or Steve Kerr says about this team maybe having to revolve around Jimmy Butler for the good of survival here as they take on a very good Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Also some updates, senior insider for the NBA at ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, in front of the program, the handsome Shams Charania. Shams, we're just wrapping up the conversation about Draymond Green. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just view that as Draymond Green football. I guess what Connor's saying is, like, without Steph Curry, with the position they're in, maybe they can't have Draymond Green football happen at this moment. He's 2 techs away from a game suspension. Is that accurate? And what do you think Steve Kerr says to Draymond in these types of situations?
2 technical fouls away. And then, I think a lot of what Draymond Green was made him so great is this ability for him to be physical, to really command the game. I mean, he commands games both from a vocal perspective, how he commands it defensively, and then even on offense. Like, he's the master communicator. And Jimmy Butler said it recently in one of his press conferences. He's like, the best thing about Draymond isn't that, how great of a player he is and the Hall of Famer he is, but just his ability to communicate from the best player to the worst player and how he's able to get his points across. And I think that's what makes him invaluable. But, plays like last night and the way Steve Kerr said it after the game, which was simply that, we know there's a line that he sometimes goes over, but that's what makes Draymond so great, and you live with it, right? Because he's helped bring you 4 championships. And then last night with him getting that technical foul, and I saw his comments after the game. Did a little probing this morning on exactly what maybe he was referring to, and I know he had the incident when he was on the bike during the game. A fan allegedly yelled a slur at him, so potentially it could be something like that. I think another part of this, from my understanding, it's also what he feels is this treatment that he gets from the officiating, believing that he gets calls on him that other players may not get, and that they potentially referee him differently. Like that play right there on Naz Reid. If this was the first time Draymond Green was making a play like that, I don't think they go to the monitor. But because of his history, they've suspended him in the past based on history. I think because of all that, he feels like he might be getting an improper whistle or an improper treatment. Now, the flip side of that is everyone around the league believes Draymond Green has probably the best leeway, largest amount of leeway that any player has. He's able to have that back and forth with referees all the time. So it's a double-edged sword. At the end of the day, only Draymond Green is going to be able to explain exactly what this is. I think part of it maybe was that incident, but I think a large part is also the way he feels like he's officiated on a nightly basis and how his history is used against him.
Well, Draymond, we just want to let you know you're a victim of your own success, brother. I mean, that's just when you're around this long, people learn about you, people do it. And we would like to say we respect the hell out of the fact that you've been that guy since the beginning. Every team needs one, especially successful teams in all sports. There's normally a dog out there that is a little bit of an enforcer, a little bit of a tone setter, a protector, and also a little bit of a wild card every once in a while. And I think Draymond Green has had a hell of a career doing as such. And go green, Foxy.
Yes, sir. Go white. Love you, Draymond.
Yeah, okay. So let's move on and let's stay in the Golden State Warriors camp, though. Steph Curry's injury is obviously a massive ordeal for the Golden State Warriors. He's the best shooter in the history of basketball, and he was getting back to form of being the guy that was able to pull up from everywhere. Felt like Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green maybe ignited an old school Golden State Warriors team feel. What is it with Steph Curry, and how long are we looking for him to be missing some games? Because this Timberwolves team does not care, and they are not waiting around for Steph to get healthy. When should we see him back, and what are the realistic expectations, Shams?
Pat, it's a hamstring strain, and and everyone in there knows. DB, I'm sure wherever he has, he knows. Like hamstring strains, that's not an injury you play with. He's really been limited to just doing treatment, and he's going to be reevaluated on Wednesday, which means he's definitely out Game 2. He missed Game 3, Game 4, so he's going to miss at least 3 games. My understanding is it's probably not going to be, at any point until Game 6 at the earliest for Stephen Curry. And there's actually like a 4-day gap between Games 5 and Game 6. It's a weird scheduling quirk. So no, the NBA didn't do this because Stephen Curry got hurt. The NBA had already made this schedule. It's some alignment with the WNBA team there in the Bay. But because of that, they're able to have that period of time. So maybe you get Stephen Curry back there. But as I tweeted then, this is the first strain of the hamstring that Stephen Curry has ever had in his NBA career. He's never had this in his life. He's never had a hamstring injury in his life, he said yesterday. So it's going to be a very safe approach I think the Warriors are going to take with this. And I think at this point, you just try to get one back in the Bay Area. You try to win one, and get either Game 3 or Game 4. And I think what happened last night, what we saw is Steve Kerr and the Warriors really pinpointing yesterday's game to just throw a bunch of things at the wall, see what rotations we want to go with, see what our best way to win without Stephen Curry is. And, I don't know how much they came into the game thinking we want to win this game. It was more like we got to figure
some shit out here, without Steph. Yeah, I understand.
And I think I don't want to say they punted the game last night because you never want to say that, but I think they knew when you're without Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, they're having fun with it, right? It's Batman. He is Batman of this organization, of this team. You lose Batman, you have to figure out exactly what, who goes where, and that's what last night was all about.
And Buddy having the wrong shorts on. I mean, there's just that's such a cool franchise because of what they were able to do over there. That run they had, historic. They changed basketball forever. I think they changed basketball forever and everything that they've done. And then you lose the guy that basically did it all in the middle of a series while he's playing his best again. That has to be tough for Steve Kerr to figure out. And the fact that that's the first time that Steph has pulled his hamstring with how much he runs.
Yeah.
That's crazy that's the first time. Now, once you pull it, the fear is always, that's going to linger. That's going to linger. That's always going to be there. Anyways, Steph, we're pulling for you, buddy. We're pulling for you. But also, Timberwolves, let's talk about Anthony Edwards. What was that? What do they think is going to happen there?
The guy's a freaking Wolverine.
I agree.
A
Timber Wolverine. He's a Timber Wolverine.
I don't know if it's like this LeBron James-esque ability that he has, but he can have an ankle tweak. He can have any body part will feel like he just sprained it, and he's able to just come back. He goes to the locker room. He goes to the back. He looks like he can't put any weight on that foot, on that leg, and then he ends up coming out. And the way for him to even get back on the floor, much less continue to be as productive as he is. I mean, the guy is just tough as anything. He has this innate ability to be on the court, and that was a must-win game for them. They took care of business. I think you have to feel really good if you're the Timberwolves. And you can see, even playing in Minnesota, the fans there are really, really involved. I mean, clearly they were involved with Draymond, Jimmy Butler. He came out after Game 1, made some comments about how he feels like the fans are, need to keep it within the lines of the game. So, those fans in Minnesota are really rampant right now. They're going. They're vibrant. And what they have in Anthony Edwards is they have a flat-out superstar that they want to come out and cheer for. But he might not want to be the face of this NBA and be the young face of the league, but his game, his charisma, and at the end of the day, his ability to stay on the court and his productiveness is what makes him kind of that face of the league potential.
All right, so we'll assume that Anthony Edwards is just going to be healthy somehow. Okay, that's awesome for him. I wish I had that ability. That would be very cool. And then Julius Randle, obviously a trade over from the Knicks. He's 3 boards away from a triple-double last night. So when you talk about playing good ball, the Minnesota Timberwolves could be the team that maybe surprises everybody. And obviously you got to get lucky, and Steph Curry getting injured is certainly a little bit of luck in the Minnesota Timberwolverine side, but on the Golden State side, not great. Let's talk about another series that does have a little luck whenever it comes to injuries on the other side, but who cares? They were the number 1 seed in the East. Mm-hmm. They're playing the Pacers tonight in Indiana.
Pacers.
Down 2-0. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Shams, there's obviously some injury questions with the Cavs. Before Game 2, Garland, Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter all did not. They were not present at shoot-around, but before Game 3 here, they all were present at shoot-around. Do you have the status on these 3 guys for this huge Game 3 tonight in Indiana?
I'm expecting, Tone Diggs, Darius Garland to definitely be in tonight. He wants to play. He wants to give it a go. He's missed, I guess, the last 2 weeks. I think it's been 2.5 weeks he's been dealing with this toe injury. He's been out. and it's a sprain of the great big toe in one of his foot.
The great big toe?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's an average big toe, and then there's the big, great, big toe.
Wow.
I guess you could say it's the big toe, the great toe, whatever you want to. But he's clearly been dealing with something there.
The most inside one.
He's missed the last 2 weeks. I would expect him back. The bigger question is Evan Mobley. He was not able to put a bunch of weight on his foot, his ankle after he sprained it the other night. He missed their last game. But all three, to my knowledge, are aiming to go into tonight's game with the intent to warm up and play in this pivotal game 3. I mean, at this point, I think all three will do everything they possibly can to at least make themselves available. I think that's what the Pacers are preparing for. And they obviously need all three. And if you can get any type of effort, because they've been competitive in both these games, but definitely they've been competitive the last game, in game 2, they feel like they really had a chance to win. They should not have lost that game.
Okay.
The Pacers obviously went out and took it. But as much as you can get out of those three, I think they're very hopeful tonight.
Okay, well, good luck to them. Obviously, we want to see everybody at their best. You know, that's what we want the playoffs to be. They're coming in here to Indianapolis, though, and I'll tell you what, the town's a-buzzing.
Be loud.
Town is a-buzzing. Everybody's talking about how the Knicks, and I saw Mike Greenberg put together a beautiful monologue about the improbable run of the New York Knicks. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and just talk about the Pacers as well? We would just like to take everything that Mike Greenberg said about the Knicks and the Celtics thing and put the Pacers name in there as well. They weren't even on primetime television. They were only on True. Turn around.
Was it NBA TV or True TV? Which one were you going to say? Or both?
All of the above. Yeah, it was impossible to find them through the playoffs. You make it to the playoffs, you're supposed to be on TV. Like, that is the purpose of the NBA playoffs. NBA TV, I guess the 4 or 5 seed, whatever it is, that's going to happen on a regular basis because they don't want to get the 1, 2, 3 teams not on prime time. Okay, sounds good. Then they play the Cavs in the opening, the series or whatever, and they have it just on True TV, and they had iRobot on TNT. They had the Inside the NBA Kickoff show on TNT and on True TV. Then they put iRobot on TNT, and they put the Pacers game on True TV. And then later that night, Golden State was playing Game 7 or whatever. It was on TNT and on True TV. And I'm like, these motherfuckers picked iRobot over the Indiana Pacers versus the number 1 seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. It's like, this team is electrifying. Tyrese Halliburton is a superstar who is loved in this city, but not just Tyrese. The entire team is loved here for the way they go about ball. Remember, Indiana is a big basketball state, and the basketball that they like a team that is. We're passing, we're moving, we're running, we're respectful, we're doing this. We're still a little moxie if you need it, but we're a hard-working team. And it's like Carlisle's like the perfect coach for this team. The team has come together perfectly. And what they started last year in the playoffs that nobody was able to talk about because they got swept by the champion Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals didn't carry into the beginning of the year either. So like nobody really had respect for the Pacers at the beginning of the season. Tyrese Halliburton played like absolute shit. Didn't even make the All-Star game. That guy didn't even make the All-Star because of how he played at the beginning of the season. I think he would even say did not play good at the beginning of the season. Then post All-Star break, Tyrese was able to sleep on to what the hell he was going on. He comes out of there even better. The team goes, and they become the hottest team in the NBA, and it's like they still get disrespected. And I think it's because it's Indianapolis. He gets voted the most overrated player in the NBA by the New York Times, The Athletic, and it's like, I love that for the Pacers team. Like, I love that for them so much.
I just hate the quirk that doesn't let you watch the Pacers when you're in Indy for some weird reason. That's what I didn't know. I didn't like that one.
I want to let you know I got a number that I did not know that worked at the NBA office that sent me a text saying, here's an NBA Pass login. If you ever, please, like, if we could. And I would like to say to the NBA, thank you for that. I think you set up your distribution rights poorly that I can't watch the Pacers in Indianapolis. I assume that'll get fixed.
I'm glad they hooked you up. There's long overdue there.
Yeah,
That's
no chance I actually signed into that. I have no idea. I don't even know if my TV is smart enough to have the NBA thing on there. I don't know how that would work. But I do appreciate them hearing our messages of saying that was stupid and then also trying to be like, yes, we're going to figure this out. I also like that the NBA has been tweeting like 6-minute videos on X.
Great.
Like, hey, here's the final 2 minutes of this. They need to do more of that because they dominate social. And I'm happy to hear they're taking advantage of that. Anyways, the Pacers are for real.
Pat, I got to add on the Pacers. So I'm a nerd. You know, I'm more of the business side. Like, I'm very interested in the business aspect of this. And like, you think about these playoffs, Indiana and Oklahoma City are the two teams so far that are in it that are in the bottom 8 in terms of spending. So you think about it, the bottom 8 payroll in the NBA, and Oklahoma City's got one max player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Pacers have 2, in Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam. They're a little bit more veteran-laden team. So you think about cost for winning and what that Pacers front office has been able to do to keep the payroll where it's at and to win at that level that they're winning at. I mean, to me, it's impressive because it shows that you're identifying the players that are dogs, that guys that really want to win, that want to compete. You think about the Andrew Nemhards. You think about the Miles Turner. Miles Turner is going to be a free agent this offseason, Pat. I know you're going to need to keep him in Indiana.
He's been here like 11 years. He's been here a long time. How long has he been here?
He just did a nice little tribute article, I think, at the Players Tribune.
Yeah.
He's been a Pacer for, I think, 10 years. He
11
did like a
maybe.
10-year
10 or 11 years.
article. And it was a beautiful read, but like, he's been a guy that, like, multiple times, everyone was saying, there was a lot of chatter around his name being traded. And he stays in Indiana. He's there in Indiana. He signed an extension at one point, and he's going to be up for another contract this summer. And you think about free agents, he's going to be right up there. And the Pacers are going to have to pay him a lot of money to be able to keep him. But listen, you make it to 2 straight conference finals, potentially, if they're able to make it back, and you're able to do it with this type of a payroll, it's going to rise, once you pay a guy like Miles Turner. But what this team's been able to do, it shows a lot about their ability, I think, to identify the right player.
Miles and Pascal are great, so big, so athletic, so I don't want to say durable. Versatile. There it is. So versatile. Miles will knock down a 3 anytime. Miles will get out there and knock that, and then he's underneath too. He's been great for the city, even though big transition period basically while he's been here. And then we trade for Tyrese, obviously from Sacramento. Spicy P, Pascal Siakam from Toronto last year midseason. So it's like the moves they've made, the people they brought in, and the coach that they have in Carlisle. I think it all is perfect for the city of Indianapolis. Legit. I think anytime a team represents its city well, I think that's whenever you have like real magic possible. Like I think people will see tonight whenever we have the home game.
Like team guys. Like Siakam's an NBA champion and he could ask for 30 shots a game, but he doesn't bitch whatsoever. I feel like that's why it works so well.
TJ McConnell, too.
I mean,
yeah.
Coming in here.
We know that.
Coming in here. He signed an extension, right? How many years with the Pacers? He signed a new deal with
I think he signed a 4-year extension. I think it was last year.
Lifetime deal.
Yeah, at the end of the season, because he was up at the end of the season, and I got a chance to meet Coach Carlisle at an event or whatever. Keeping TJ, right? Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh kid. Needed to keep TJ McConnell around here. He's an absolute dog.
He gave you the word? He gave you the word?
No, absolutely not. They said, yeah, we'll see, the business thing. I go to Tyrese. I'm like, yo, got to be keeping the Yinzer, right? Got to be keeping the Yinzer around. He goes, I love TJ, man. I don't, he does that whole thing. So there's a question on whether or not he was going to come back, and it felt like he fit this team perfect. Like it felt like he was. I think we have the makings of a good team, but so does Cleveland. And if they're going to be completely healthy tonight, not completely healthy, but if everybody's going to be available tonight, this should be a great one on ESPN at 7:30 p.m. Once again, Tyrese's dad not going to be able to be in attendance, which is a bummer. That will be a missing piece of the building tonight. We hope he is enjoying this playoff run, especially with how his kid has been performing. All right, let's move to the other team you just chatted about there, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Ty Schmidt has a question for you.
Yeah, Shams, obviously after game one, where Denver looks great, they get the game-winning bucket from Aaron Gordon. They kind of like the Warriors. I mean, you don't want to say they punted, but they get beat by 43 and kind of just looked like they were happy to take one, steal one in OKC. We've seen everything with Jokic where he's the head coach now as well as their best player. Do you expect the Nuggets to bounce back in a big way against the Thunder tomorrow night, or how do you think the rest of this series is going to go after these first 2 games?
I think this series has a chance to go, 6-7 games, because Denver is the way they're playing right now, I think they're as in sync as possible. And I don't think they went into game 2. I think the Warriors went into that game too. They were scrambling, trying to figure out all these different rotations. I think the Nuggets tried to win, but I think Oklahoma City, it showed me more about what Oklahoma City's about, finding themselves, because that's the team we've seen all season. That's really the team that we're known for. Their level of dominance when their games are right. I mean, they've been absolutely killing the entire NBA in terms of their plus minus all season long. You saw in that series against Memphis, they were down like 25 points. They ended up winning that game by a lot in that game 3 in Memphis. So I think that's really Oklahoma City to me. But Denver is in a great position now to be able to go back home, Aaron Gordon, the way he's playing, Russell Westbrook contributing the way he is, Michael Porter Jr. playing with a pretty banged-up shoulder, giving everything he has. It's all, at the end of the day, going to boil down to, though, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. And can those two guys be the best two players on the floor in any given order? That's really what's going to dictate, I think, these Denver Nuggets winning. Because I think the last game, what was it, like 6 fouls for Jokic, 6 field goal attempts? Like, that's obviously not what's going to win Denver games.
Yeah, I always assumed that Joker understood your team more and more as the series would go on. That's just kind of how I thought Joker was. So to watch how this game went, it was very, I don't want to say alarming, but it was like, oh, I didn't expect that. But I think what Oklahoma City people are saying is, we played terrible game. This is just who we are. And this is why everybody thought Oklahoma City was going to win this series. When I was like, so you're telling me Joker is not the favorite? It's like, this has been the Oklahoma City team all year, right? This is they've been dominant. They have been the best basketball team in the league on numerous different occasions, right, this season?
Yeah, they've been the best team in the NBA. I mean, you think about the only thing that would hold this team back is they haven't been there, done that. Like they got to the second round last year, but they haven't made a deep run to the conference finals or the NBA finals. So even like Oklahoma City, in a lot of ways, they're still young. They're still building the right way. They only have one max player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, those guys are all going to be up for extensions this summer. So that's when decisions start being made. But this is still a pretty young Thunder group in terms of what their experience is like going down in the playoffs.
Thunder. Lightning and a thunder. Do they play that? I assume they got to play that.
Have to.
I assume they have to. All right, let's go from Western Conference, best team in the West. Let's go to the reigning champs in the East. Start spreading the news.
Pan the camera to BC.
Yeah.
We got to pan the camera.
Yeah, that's where
How's
we're headed.
that guy doing?
He's not scared. It feels like he's in a position.
He's wearing a Patriots jersey. I thought he was going to come in here.
Yeah, it's football
the day
season.
Before a big Game 3 at the Garden. I thought he was going to be wearing a vintage KG Celtics jersey or something.
Well,
I
think the jerseys he's wearing is in the trenches jersey. That is an offensive lineman's jersey who just so happens to have the same last name as Connor. But with that being said, it feels like Joe Mazzola needs to dig into the trenches a little bit and figure this out. Connor does have a question for you about what's going on over there in the East.
Yeah, Shams, I do have a question. And before I get to it, I will say, I am not worried just yet. I've told the boys and Pat, I've opened the door of where the panic button lives, and I've looked at it, but I've not taken it out. I've not thought about pressing it because to act as if the Celtics can come back from down 2-0 is ridiculous. They've been down 3-0, and they forced.
Of course.
So all this is very possible. Now, being completely healthy would help a lot for the Celtics. Obviously, Sam Hauser, we all saw it. Ankle, that's a clear-cut injury. Who knows when he's coming back. The Porzingis sickness, has kind of just been confusing from the beginning. He missed a bunch of time during the regular season. No one really knew what it was all about. Game 1, he leaves at halftime, doesn't come back with some sort of mystery sickness, illness. Can you put any insight into that? And because Game 2, he's coming off the bench, still doesn't look like himself. What is this entire illness, sickness, and will we expect him in the starting lineup for the rest of this series or playoffs?
So Kristaps Porzingis, my understanding is he's been dealing with a lingering of side effects from the virus that he had in March, and it's something that has zapped his energy. It's drained him. He's had to rely on getting a lot more sleep over the last couple months. He's had to take IVs, immune boosters, I'm told. So he's tried to figure out ways to mitigate it. Obviously, they've run him through a battery of different tests, and they have not been able to, I guess, completely identify which virus could this specifically be. But he's seen doctors, he's gotten tests done, and to their understanding, the Celtics, the doctors, Porzingis, it's just been these lingering side effects. And it just imagine being the competitor he is. And Pat, this is, and BC knows this, Porzingis played through a leg injury in the finals last year that needed, 3, 4, 5 months of rehab before a return. Like, this is someone that has already showed that he'll put his body on the line. He's a competitor. when he came into the league, he had such high expectations, made an all-star team. And then he played for the Wizards, the Mavericks, and then I think the last couple years playing for Boston, he's been their missing piece. Because when he's on the floor, that's an element Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, none of their guards, no one can do what Kristaps Porzingis does. So it's been a tough blow to this team not to have him 100%, but that's my understanding, BC, it's been lingering effects from this whatever bad viral bug he had in March.
I couldn't imagine that lingering for that long. I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
Think about how mad you would be. I had a cold, not comparing, okay, I don't know what that is, but I had like a cold for like what felt like 7 weeks, like just a couple weeks back. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. Every day I woke up, I'm like, this has got to be over. Like, it's got to be over. Taking shit for it, it's just still there. I was so pissed. I couldn't even imagine a guy in the best shape of his life missing this type of game because of lingering effects from a virus like this long. Every morning, and I don't know what this is, obviously, but every morning you probably assume, I'm going to be better. Like, you're going to sleep at this stage, like, I'm going to be better, and it just continues to go. That sucks. Hey, keep powering through, brother.
Sounds like mono. Actually, it sounds like something that does. I mean, I haven't heard of anything that lasts that long.
BC, I asked about that. I was told no.
Not mono. Okay,
and it's not COVID.
No. They tested for COVID. They tested. I think they've done a bunch of. I think they've tested on everything you possibly can, and there hasn't been anything that's showed up that's like you do X, Y, Z. But a few weeks ago, it seemed like he was over this. All the things that he was doing, the sleep pattern, the IVs, the immune boosters, it all seemed like it was working. And for whatever reason, he spoke to it a little bit after game 2. There's some kind of a crash that he's kind of had in the last couple weeks of last week, and obviously, we want him to feel better.
Doctors saying, we have no idea what that'd be. A little bit of hey, we're pulling for you, man.
MGH too, man.
We're pulling for you.
In the world.
We're pulling for you up there in Boston. Great facilities from everything that we've learned. All right, at this moment, who's winning the NBA title?
Pat, I don't do picks. Come on. We've been doing this for 6 years. I don't do picks.
Yeah, who's
till today?
Who's going to win? Let's make a show.
But
Let's have a Feel Good Friday.
You look at this group, I think Oklahoma City, they've been so dominant all year.
That's why
it looked like, obviously big game 2 win. Great big game 2 win. So we'll see how the game 3 goes in Denver. But listen, I think a lot of people around the league still feel like the Celtics are going to be able to turn the corner. I mean, even though they're down 2-0, lost both games at home. It's crazy. I think the Celtics have done this before. BC, if you remember, the team with Isaiah Thomas on it, they went down 2-0 to the Bulls. I think it was the Jimmy Butler, Rondo, D. Wade team. They lost both games in Boston and ended up winning that series. So it's never not been done. The question is just, can you beat a team like the Knicks, where you think about the Knicks starting 5? That's a really formidable group, and now you seem like it really seems like they're clicking. They're all coming together, and I think that's what everyone's been waiting on, especially with the Knicks.
I forget the stat. What is it, like 14-12? Jalen Brunson points in the final 30 seconds or minute of game.
I mean, there's just no way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are shooting like 32% from the field, like for an entire series. They missed 75 threes?
Yeah, 75 threes. Q Rich laid it out well. 45 wide open shots, threes that they have missed. The stat I think you're talking about is that the Knicks are outscoring the Celtics in clutch time 28-12. In the fourth quarter, I think they're outscoring them like 55-30. So it's not just like
I think Brunson has more points than the Celtics in a super duper close crunch. I forget how Greenberg described it. Him and Hembo went to work on a monologue, and it was like Jalen Brunson has like 14 or 13 points in like maybe the final 30
Probably
seconds.
Last
and then the Celtics as a total have 12.
Yeah,
like he is just out, like let alone the entire team and everything. Yeah. There's all these clutch stats that are coming out about this Knicks team. And if you're in the playoffs, like that's in basketball, isn't
it's all about.
That is the shit. And that's where the Celtics, this is very abnormal for them just to go absolutely ice cold at the end of games, because that is why they've been great. That is why they are currently our champs.
Yes, it's old Celtics. Like back when they were a younger team, when they were trying to make the finals, trying just to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, this is the shit that was happening. Like they were down 3-2 to the Bucks, and they had to go to Milwaukee and win Game 6, and they did. That's why I think a lot of Celtics fans have faith, because they've been there. They've won in these high-pressure moments. I mean, I remember the Heat Celtics series where Derek White, or maybe it was Marcus Smart, gets a tip-in at the end of the game with 0.01 seconds on the clock. And so I think that's why there's a lot of faith there from being down and coming back. But, I mean, when things aren't going your way, they're not going your way. And it was just like the Pacers-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals last year, where the Pacers are winning the entire game, and then the Celtics won the games. But now it's the Celtics are winning the whole game, and the Knicks are winning the game in the end.
Here's the stat I just found from Greeny's monologue. I just went to his Twitter account because I'm happy he posted this, by the way. This was very well done with a lot of stats, and Greeny delivered it in a great way. He posted it. So in clutch time points in the Eastern Conference semifinals, Jalen Brunson has 14 points. The Celtics have 12 in total. So what is... Like, we know the red zone, there's a high red zone, then there's the red zone. We don't know what separates clutch time to
So I believe
final 2 minutes.
Clutch time is like when the game's within 5 points or within a certain number, whether it's one possession or two possession games, like that's clutch time.
Final minute. And then I think they had they're undefeated on the road, 5 wins on the road or
5
something.
straight by
3 points or less.
Yeah, boom.
So it's like this team, whenever it comes down to it, final cup on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks are going to knock it down. That's just what it is. What were you going to say there, Tone?
There's been 12 minutes of clutch time in the 2 games so far. I found that. I'm not sure exactly what the definition is, but I know there's been 12 minutes of clutch time in the first.
And Jalen Brunson was voted what?
Yeah, clutch player of the year.
Most clutch player
of the year.
Yeah. And then, so you would think maybe those awards are accurate sometime. And then you're Tyrese Halliburton's most overrated player in the league, and then he's all over your city.
There's just no way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum aren't going to be able to turn the corner to some extent. Now,
We thought that last game, didn't we? We thought that last game, we thought.
But over a full series, like I actually see Boston Counter's perspective right there. Like we thought, they were potentially over this after you win the championship, and no one's going to take away that championship away from them.
Awesome.
But to be coming down to this series in round 2, this is a team that has championship aspirations. This season is not supposed to end in the second round by any means, and so I think having faith in Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they've been there, they've done it. The amount that they've won at such a young age. But again, this is not a series where they can afford to have another bad fourth quarter. They just can't.
Yeah, and I believe in Joe Mazzulla.
Big time.
So, I believe in Joe Mazzulla. Okay? I do.
Yeah, me too.
I do believe in Joe Mazzulla.
All the boys.
And I believe in that team after watching them and having to experience it alongside you and watch what they did to Indiana whenever they were here, whenever they were down a lot of those games and they were coming back in the clutch time to win last year during their championship. So I believe in them. But it's hard to just think that this guy's just going to give it up.
Yeah.
Like this guy's, hey, he's special. This guy is
unbelievable.
His mentality is special. And then you listen to his podcast and it's just like he's like a casual dude. And then he gets on the court and it's like
killer.
Absolute killer. Yeah, what a series.
Chicago's finest.
Okay, that makes
Stevenson's
well, there's a
finest.
Pope now. There's a Pope now for
Brunson.
Shams,
CM Punk.
Pope Leo, CM Pope.
Yep.
All those things. That was a great comment. Somebody left a comment in so our Pope coverage yesterday, Shams, I don't know if you know this.
I was watching. I was getting all my information was coming from you guys when I was watching PMS.
Okay, you weren't the only one. Okay, I got a lot of messages yesterday from a lot of people that I did not expect to hear from out of nowhere, saying, "Hey, Pope coverage today, phenomenal. I would have never known." And it's like, well, we had no idea, obviously, clearly, as we were going in there. Then as we start to learn, like, wait a minute, America's got a Pope. First time in he's the 267th Pope. Okay, so I got that number wrong, 266. I said yesterday, 267th Pope. It started at 30 AD.
Between 30 and 70 AD.
The amount of things we learned about popes yesterday, I think a lot of people potentially learned alongside of us. I'm appreciative of you, Ty, in our Pope coverage yesterday. You became like an authority.
Yeah.
In the middle of one of the big, and then Schraig's getting inside messages as it's all coming down. I enjoyed the Pope coverage yesterday.
I mean, it really was like, if you aren't Catholic, then it's maybe whatever. Like, that was a massive deal. Like, that is something like we'll never see that again in our lifetime. I don't think. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. Like, when you look at like the events of like the last 100 years, or like when things started being covered like this was a massive, massive deal.
We missed the terrible towel that was waving in the crowd. That's on us. We apologize because we were so in the moment trying to learn about it. And I even had some Catholics who, obviously a big deal, had some Catholics, American Catholics, send me text that said, you even covered up being a scumbag Catholic hater whenever you were talking about it. Thought we had pretty good non-biased. I'm not a Catholic hater. You didn't pick Notre Dame, I was told. Okay. Okay. That is not what that means in this entire thing. But with that being said, I do understand that it was a huge day, and I appreciated us all learning about it. So I do appreciate you, Ty. You were kind of put on a spotlight there to give us right answers, and then working alongside Google. I feel like we did. I think we did a good Pope coverage yesterday.
I think so too.
This is an open-minded, for the people, for everyone show. Inclusion's very important here.
Amen. And also, like, it's happening in everybody's world, this piece of news. So we owe it to people that are watching to be like, hey, heads up. Big fucking deal just happened.
Yeah.
With the CM Pope.
Yeah. The internet did great, too. Hats off to
We got to take him to a Cubs game, though.
He's a White Sox
fan. Shams, do a little research on the Pope, brother.
We don't know that. He has to
No, I agree, but we need to see if we can convert him to the Cubs or go to a White Sox.
Oh, you think the Pope is going to be disloyal to the team that he's... Okay, I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't do good enough coverage yesterday, obviously. Joining us every single week, seemingly, to keep us informed on what's happening in the NBA for the last few years, even before he became Mr. Big Time on ESPN. We appreciate the hell out of you, man. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Let's get some more answers, ladies and gentlemen. Like, who's going to win the title? Shams Charania. I don't like that he won't make a pick.
Me neither. Yeah, he's a wuss when it comes to that stuff.
I don't like that at all. Well, I don't want to upset anybody on either side. It's like, I get it. That's like when Herb Street on game day, I'm calling the game, so I can't make a pick. It's like, okay.
It's journalism.
Good gimmick.
It's not live or die. We're you
can say who you think is going to win.
We're trying to figure out who's going to win a basketball game.
And I used to like making those picks on game day because you're in a big spot there.
Yeah.
Okay? And when you pick against a team, these teams, especially in college football with the passion that they have, these teams in their fan base, in their alumni, in their current students group, and the current people that just live in the area, and the people that used to live in the area, that's a large number of people that feel like you're picking against me.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's Notre Dame people felt that way.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like all of Catholic,
Michigan.
Especially me being an Irish.
Yeah.
Okay, they're like, you son of a, how could you do that? It's like, I'm just saying who I think.
You live in Indiana. What are you doing?
I'm just saying who I think is going to win the game. I'm not picking against you. I am picking that this other team might be a little bit better in a couple matchups that I like, and they're going to beat you in the game. It's like, so you just got to get past the point of people being mad whenever you say that you think one team's going to win. So at the beginning, whenever everybody was crushing me for picking these games, I'm like, I hate this. I don't like that this is what comes from this, but it just is a part of it. And if you think somebody's going to win a game, you have to understand you're going to piss people off on the other side. And it's like, that's why sports are awesome. And guess what? The next week, if you think their team is a better matchup, some of them might hear you, but most of them...
They're gone.
Most of them...
They don't care.
They do not care. So you're going to lose a lot of people, Shams, and we understand that. But you know ball better than us, Shams. You know the inside information. So when you're giving picks, you're helping out the people, and that's where I have to frame it. It's like I'm trying to help out people with my thoughts. Even if they think I'm a doofus and they want to pick against me.
Sure.
Here's my thoughts. I'm trying to help out. But you're going to get it on the shins from a lot of people whenever you pick against them.
And that's the thing is you're not going to hear any of it, but like the team that you're riding with, like they're like, oh hell yeah, McAfee's rolling with us.
Never hear it.
You're never going to hear it, but there's plenty of that out there too.
Yeah, but for Shams, we need to tell him.
Yeah, exactly.
And for Herbie,
right.
Herbie, you're just saying who you think is going to win a game. Then you can even carry that into the broadcast, but I guess it's not professional. You can say, to be honest, I mean, I said it this morning. I thought this team was going to blah. You can just kind of have it, but there is a chance. There is a chance, especially if you think about how these people think, that they'd be like, we're incredibly kind to you. We let you in our building.
Yeah.
We showed you around.
Took care of your family.
We did everything. And so you saw what we did and you think this team stinks? You think we're going to lose to the other team? You can see how people get offended. I assume that is what happened. Never mind, Herbie. Herbie should not be making
the Ohio State coaches at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, yeah, when there was...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Or the Texas fans when you hit them with the horns down. That was all time.
Yeah, that was a good time. That had to happen. But that was disrespectful by me. But there was a lot of disrespectful shit being said, And not everybody sees the disrespectful stuff being said to me. Only me. and like a few others see it. So whenever I potentially respond in a little bit of a fashion to a school with a little bit more juice, it's like a lot of those people that are out there they haven't seen all the other things. So I'm just the ass. It's an interesting game, picking games. Because really, college game day, obviously it's 3 hours or whatever it is. Early morning on Saturday.
Very early.
Especially on the West Coast.
Early call time.
That is an early morning.
Seeing that cow, forgetting how dark out it was.
Monday through Friday show, okay? Then obviously have to watch ball all day Sunday and all day Saturday afternoon. So that's a lot of days of having to do stuff. Lucky to do it, but that's an early morning. That is an early morning, especially that's an early morning. Not really a morning guy. Never have been. Have become an espresso shot chugger, though, I will say, because I know what I'm here for. I know early morning. I know what I'm here for.
Can't really lay an egg either.
Yeah, never. Never can, okay? Never will, hopefully. Just try to work my ass off to do all that thing. Late night, too, learning a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Late night, learning a lot, early morning, and that entire thing. But it's all leading up to those picks.
Yeah.
So the most amount of people are watching you make those picks. So now, not only did you potentially compliment that team in the first hour of game day, okay, like huge, put them over in a massive, massive way. Like, hey, showcased a lot of things. You just so happen to think that another top 5 team might be a little bit better. They had no idea that you think anything is good at that team. That just comes with it, Shams. Every once in a while, you're just going to have to piss off an entire city.
Exactly.
I understand why it doesn't.
Even when you pick them, sometimes they get mad. Because I remember week 1 last year, you went A&M against Notre Dame. And then you guys did a bounce back segment in week 2, and you're like, oh, Notre Dame's going to blow out Northern Illinois. And they didn't. And then they got mad at you for saying Notre Dame was going to blow out Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it's just the Michigan people at the end of last year, don't you even think.
The whole year.
About picking us. Don't you even think about it. I'm like, Jesus, you guys are paying attention? Yeah, we're paying attention. Not for you, mostly because the guy that's next to me. I mean, how was Nick Saban?
At picking or?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I wonder how he
I'm
did.
going to assume good.
Yeah, I would too. I don't know.
No, because, Miss Amy.
Miss Terry.
I don't know why I said Miss Amy.
Well, Miss Amy is a massive piece of the Saban
correct.
team. Miss Amy's awesome, by the way. Talk to her. She reps Jackson Dart, I believe.
Really?
Hey.
Yeah, I believe she is. She's a wet. Miss Amy's an absolute dog.
Oh, yeah.
In Green Bay.
Yeah, I just saw her at the draft.
Everything that Coach Saban has around him is the best of the best. I think he is an incredible. That's why his coaching staffs are so good. He's an incredible. I think he has a good eye for talent. I think he has a good eye and judgment for talent. And then that's not just in the coaching business. That's in all of his
car business.
Great business.
Yeah,
that business is.
I read an article on that. I would highly recommend reading that.
Coach Saban and his ability to read people, figure out what and if, and then make the decision and do it, and then take care of those. The amount of time he invests in everything. I know he was an incredible coach and he invested a lot of time in Alabama, and I assume he would. But then whenever he retires, he has a little bit more free time. I think all of his businesses are also starting to all the others that are, that dude's special. Coach Saban is a special person. That's why the rumors that are coming out about him potentially being a part of it, I don't know if that is 100% a thing. I have no idea. I've not been able to, and have chose not to reach out to him. He's got a lot going on, I assume, in his life. I don't know if that's official, but if this was to happen, this thing, there would be no better than this guy. And I think everybody feels that way. That's why whenever this gets reported, everybody's like, oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know if this is I'm not 100% sure if this is 100% a thing from what I'm hearing.
We hope it is.
But we all hope,
fingers crossed,
that it is a thing. But we do understand that might be an impossible task too. Like that's a huge undertaking that you are trying to do with college. That's a huge job. So I just like the fact that that's being thought about. Like the news, if Coach is a part of it, which maybe we're not hearing it's official, but if he is a part of it, great. But the fact that they're thinking about trying to figure this out, that's the big news. I think that's good news. And if he's a consultant or whatever. Anyways, hour 2 is on the other side. We got J.R. Smith coming.
Okay.
Ooh.
Belle Sessions, who got here at 3 a.m. this morning, was the winner. Her ticket was pulled, and you thought to yourself immediately, what, Belle?
I knew I couldn't do it, and he was next to me, and he said that he could, so we're splitting it.
Okay, so Belle Sessions made the decision to talk to my man, Henry Silver, who been Henry got here yesterday at 6 p.m. He's been waiting for this moment. Now, Henry, you told her that you could make it. Why do you think that's the case? Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I've kicked a ball before. I've played soccer my whole life. I think I can do it.
This kick is for $150,000. You said you would split it in half, right? Okay, so let's make it $200,000. If you make it, you will both get $100,000. Where are you from, Henry?
I'm from Fishers, Indiana.
Who's your favorite NFL team?
The Colts?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Come on, bro. Hell yeah. To hell with the Falcons. That was rude. They didn't deserve that. I like that. Henry, 33 yards, $100,000 for you, $100,000 for her, $200,000 to hurricane relief, $400,000 on the line. Henry, are you ready?
Of course.
Have you ever said anything bad about kickers?
Of course.
Shut up. Let's go. Now, here in Athens, Georgia, it would be beautiful if $400,000 would be up for grabs. Why don't we double it because the Georgia Bulldogs? So, $800,000 kick right here, Henry. But what I want to let you know is you're not getting a second opportunity. I don't care if this entire place starts chanting for a second kick. One kick, 800,000 racks, 400,000 to hurricane relief, 400,000 to you two split, 200 grand each. Henry Silver from Indiana for Bell Sessions. Let's go, Henry! Oh my! Henry! Henry! Come in, buddy! Come in! Let me see this. Let me see this, Henry. That was amazing. I mean, he walked in like, Henry! Congratulations, Henry! Congratulations, Bell! Dude. Congratulations, Georgia! What a morning! College game day's the greatest. College football's amazing. Bell, you just won $200,000.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. You ping! Stop! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this Feel Good Friday, May 9th, 2025, hour 2 of the program starts now. Sports are the greatest.
Yeah.
We should take a moment and really acknowledge that. How about last night? Overtime game between two teams that are in cities that are far away from where I am. This morning had me thinking to myself, damn, that's awesome. A guy who I've never met before goes by the name of McJesus, playing a sport on ice that I've never been able to skate on in my entire life, does something, and the next morning, hours after it happens, I'm thinking to myself, that's marvelous. This marvelous McJesus fella is magic on the ice. And this Vegas Golden Knights team is obviously special, and Jackie Ace is the guy that just got crossed to hell and back right there. Had an incredible game last night.
He did.
He's a great player, but that can happen. When you live in the paint, every once in a while, you're going to get dunked on. Whenever you're on the ice with McJesus, there's a chance that you're going to get, especially in overtime, and then go on to lose it. Jackie Aces will respond. The Vegas Golden Knights will respond.
I hope so.
And that's kind of the story of sports, is there's going to be another game. There's going to be another day. You have to answer the bell. Why? Because the game's going to happen. That's what we're experiencing right now. There's massive upsets potentially lingering. Historic upsets, which also means historic runs. and positive. Cities coming together more so than they've ever been in the past. The city of New York coming alive around this New York Knicks team, and it's an improbable run. I've got a chance now to be in New York multiple times during this run. Place is going crazy. The energy, the vibes are insane. People are more unified feeling than ever in the past, and that's what sports can do. And that's what sports are happening right now. The NBA, the NHL in the middle of their playoffs, it's awesome. The NFL's got drama. College football's got drama. And we're all tuned in because sports are the greatest. The Pope is a sports fan.
That's right. Oh, yeah, big time.
At the highest of high levels, sports are what make people forget about everything else that's going on and feel like they're a part of something special. Shout out to sports on this Feel Good Friday. It's not just me. The Talks Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone is here. And joining us live from an attic in Ohio is a man who has won a college football national championship, a Super Bowl championship. He's been a Ryder Cup winner, although the team lost. But he won. He contributed. We think that means something. He doesn't like that we say it because the team lost. We just mean he beat Europe in golf.
Yeah.
AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah, Rob Riggle and myself, we were able to, squeak out a victory in our match. But yeah, ultimately they were too much for us.
Saved Malfoy, though.
Yeah, you did.
What's that?
You saved Draco Malfoy.
Saved his life.
On the course.
Oh, not me. Kelly Slater.
Slater.
Honestly, really did, I believe. Yeah, it was a scary situation after that.
Yeah, happy everybody's okay.
Yep.
And on that note, AJ, you're a winner. That's what you are.
You too.
That's what you've done at all different stages of your life. This guy was even an all-state punter, I think, in high school. I know you stayed up last night for that Golden Knights Oilers game. What is your thoughts on Connor McDavid and how he is slicing and dicing at the right time for the team from Edmonton?
I tell you what, playoff hockey is different. Playoff hockey it's amazing to watch. Now, unfortunately, this one, I watched the majority of it the following morning, early this morning. I got to see a lot of the clips and a lot of the highlights. But I wish I would have been up to see this one. I really do, but just my time zone kind of messed me with this one.
Unless you're a Golden Knights fan, Ty Schmidt, last night was everything that was spectacular with playoff hockey. The playoff hockey, I think in the broader sense, doesn't get talked about enough. And on this particular channel, which we appreciate for licensing our show, ESPN, I don't think there's been a lot of hockey talk for a long time. I don't think playoff hockey has gotten kind of eyes on it for one reason or another, because it's on another network. There's no relevance to the conversation in there, whatever the case is. But now it feels like you can't help but just respect what's going on in hockey. Every night there's a banger. Every night there's something special. Every night there is highlights. And last night, Capitals get a massive win over the Hurricanes. The handsome menace, Tom Wilson, notches an apple and the goal. Empty netter, nonetheless, doesn't matter on the score sheet. Just keep it moving in that whole thing. It's like hockey always delivers for us, AJ. It really does feel like that. As sports fans, it feels like playoff hockey always delivers for us.
Well, don't you feel the thing about playoff hockey, has it always been 7-game series? Like, playoff hockey is a whole nother season. Obviously, the regular season is what it is, but playoff hockey, it's like 2-3 months long, it feels like. That's what makes it great. All these games mean so much for us.
And that's just like the NBA. It is a whole nother season. Yes. As like a outsider of the NBA fan, but lifelong NHL fan, the NBA is the same way. The playoffs are the only thing that really matters to the grand conversation of the entire sport in the entire league, because the best of 7 series are so long, and that's all eyes are on it. It's whenever the league is the league, basically, for some people. And I think if you only tune in during the NHL playoffs, I think you are watching the best, obviously, in the world, but also the best outside of, there was a couple even playoff football games that weren't that. Great playoff football, impossible to beat, okay, in our eyes, especially if your team's in it. A whole different animal. But playoff hockey, if you have no rooting interest, you just tune in, you're going to be dazzled. It's going to be spectacular no matter what. So I appreciate them showing up in last night's game, going very late, but also being very great.
Yeah, it's the best. And hockey, it feels like, is the only sport where the bottom seed can go on a run and win the entire thing. Like, even in football, you can see the 7 seed making it to, the divisional or the NFC championship, but they're never going on to win the Super Bowl. Basketball is kind of similar, but it does kind of give you an insight on the 82 games. Like, we're talking about the Pacers and how after the All-Star break, they got so hot. And it's like you kind of need those 82 games just so water does find its level. And then once you do get to the playoffs, those teams are going up against each other are the best. Like the East is now 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. In the West, you have a 7 versus 6 matchup and a 1 versus 4 matchup. But now, kind of looking back on it, with how much we do shit on the 82 games, and this is too much, and you don't need to play this many games, it's like you kind of do. And then the level of play that happens after those 82 games is so much higher because every team has found their rhythm a bit.
That's a long season.
It's long as hell.
I don't even want to get into baseball right now.
It's the same thing, though.
Baseball. They need to have
exactly
1,004 games.
162, you have to, because it's a big, like with the COVID year when they played 60 games, like you could argue like the best team didn't win this year, because like that's what they've done every year. That's the whole point, is like, can you go through the mental and physical rigors of like an entire summer and kind of find your formula, your right roster by the time the playoffs?
So it's just like, and I guess it's in the sports world. Interesting metaphor. We'll see how it is received. Soccer's 90 minutes, and I think it's 90.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You're talking about the extra stoppage time?
That we never know about, in the extra time that one person gets to keep the extra time. I would imagine they can manipulate the game pretty good.
They put the sign up. They go 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
At the start of the extra minutes, but you don't know until after the 90 minutes
like
how
the
much extra
88th
time
they put it up.
Yeah, so he is right.
Oh, thanks for the 2-minute warning.
That is new. I would just like to say that is kind of new, though. Back in the day, they didn't do that, and it all was just like how much time? Yeah. I will tell you. How much time?
A lot of power. That person's got a lot of power.
Yeah, you literally ask, like, hey, how much we thinking here? And I'll let you.
Like if my team's up 1-0, oh, sorry, bud, there's no extra time today. We're right at 90 tonight.
But anyways, they've evolved that a little bit. But 90 minutes is a long time. Golf, 18 holes. That's a really long time. And in the modern world, it's like, can we bring that down to 12 holes, 13 holes? Can we do that just to make golf a little bit faster, more efficient? Soccer, can we get that a little bit more active? And it's like, this is how it's always been. If you want to compare yourself against all the times you play the actual sport, we got to play 162 games. You got to play a long-ass golf round, and you got to go 90-plus minutes to survive this thing and probably run 6-7 miles. Can we drop that down, make the nets bigger? Can we make the game a little bit? Well, that's not the sport. It's been this way since the beginning of time. And that's another great thing about sport. Yeah. Tradition. I think it's still a meritocracy, I believe, in a lot of. I think it's a beautiful thing. But I think these NBA and NHL playoffs right now, I'm more invested now because we obviously have an opportunity to showcase their highlights and meet people from their leagues and everything. It's like I'm captivated every single time, and I've never really been that invested in the NBA playoffs or the NBA at all.
Super captivating, but I'm on the other side. I wish these were 11-game series. I wish these leagues played 100 games a year. I wish golf rounds were 7-8 hours, soccer games 4 hours. The more things. No, I mean, like you said, 90 minutes. I want the run time.
Play time.
Yeah, I want 180 minutes. Okay. Because if not, if these, all right, say they were 40-game seasons, we'd have so many days where we had nothing on and nothing to do.
Well, I agree. I guess we could just watch a very boring thing for a long time. And
bingo.
We certainly will, and that is our life. But there's a lot of things changing in sport as well, especially at the college ranks. Joining us now is the senior insider and the authority on college football and basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, from ESPN's College Game Days and the College Game Day podcast with Reese Davis, Pete Thamel.
Yay, Thamel!
How you doing, Pete?
I'm great, Pat. Coach Rodriguez told us on the College Game Day podcast this week that you did not have a curfew at West Virginia because you were so reliable on the field and maybe not so reliable with curfew. He just wanted you to make sure you showed up when the game started. Is that true?
Well, I was an insomniac, so what's that? Why am I being punished? I can't fall asleep, so I'm not allowed to do it. Everybody else that's able to fall asleep has to live by the same rules as me. No, me and Coach Rod had a hilarious relationship, I think would be the way to describe it. And he taught me a lot about life, man. Legitimately, a lot about life. And I find myself, as I get older, in every situation, I think back to something that Rich Rod either yelled at me or tried to get into our brains. And however he did it, I would say at least every day, every other day, I think about Rich Rodriguez. I'm happy he's back at West Virginia. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the conversation with him? We got to make some big turnover, I think. I think we're going to be in a good spot, but it might take us a little bit, right? Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah, big turnover numbers wise this year for Rich, and we'll see if your friend Nico fits what he wants to do long term. Right, I think Nico will be is a very good player and a good starter there. But we know how Rich wants to go.
Has that been
tempo-wise,
announced?
and
Is that the starter? Is Nico? Did he tell you Nico's the starter?
he did not. He's just the incumbent on the depth chart. Obviously started some games at the end of last year.
I was about to say, holy shit, that's big news. Nico's a starter because I love Nico Mazzarella. I love him. I love that he stayed too. Right?
Yeah.
Vastly different styles of culture are happening between Neil Brown and Coach Rich Rodriguez. So him staying, I think, I like respect every time he played, respect. But I didn't know if they named a starter. That was because that. You just kind of got me pumped up there for a second, like, okay, Nico's our guy. I'm excited for the big Italian lefty to kind of do his thing. And then, you're just telling me you're reading it. Okay, you don't have any information that I don't have at this point. Okay. Good, happy to
No, I think you should have all the West Virginia inside information, Pat. I will say this, sitting here on May, whatever day today is, you would be very hard-pressed to get a college football coach to tell you who their number one is if it's not like an incumbent thumper starter, because the quarterback market is so fickle and guys leave so soon that if I ever mentioned to a coach coming through spring, hey, this guy, hey, equal snaps, everyone's got a chance, because they don't want to show their cards to have guys leave. So it's the games the gentlemen play.
Yeah, and the game might have been played there whenever you said Nico was a starter because we got some dogs behind him that we don't need to leave. Okay, we got some guys that, hey, I don't think the starter has been named yet, but let's talk about what you just chatted about there, people leaving and everything. College football is obviously in the middle of a wild change, college sports as a whole. We all heard the announcement or read on the internet the announcement that I think mutual friends of ours say that is not official, but would be cool if it was to happen. College commission happening and like getting rules and regulations on this. For the people that you talk to in the sport, are they all assuming that this is going to happen? And are they thinking it's going to be sooner than later? Like, what do you think about the guardrails that we're all kind of hoping for? What are the people in the world that you talk to thinking about the realistic expectations of that?
I think realistic expectations, Pat, is a great way to frame it. We all sit around and talk a lot about the issues and the problems, and they're all pretty obvious with college football. And the goal of this presidential commission that's supposed to come together sometime in the next few weeks would be to really sit down and try to solve them. If these were easy issues to fix that didn't weave through labor law and weave through, billion-dollar television contracts and weave through higher education, they probably would have been fixed by now. So I have personally lived through a lot of commissions that were supposed to fix college sports or some aspect of college sports. And I can't tell you right now whether this one, even though the president commissioned it, is going to be more or less qualified to sort of find a place to go for a smooth path forward for college athletics. What is known already is that this commission is not going to all of a sudden be gifted unilateral rights to change the whole landscape. Congress would still be needed to use the great buzzword codify what they're hoping to have happen with the settlement. There's going to be some antitrust help that's going to be needed. There's a lot that is needed, and the commission in a linear fashion is not going to be able to just sit back and say, this is what we're doing, let's execute it.
Yeah, this is what we're doing is going to be a hard thing to get to too. Like, what's the right answer? You're figuring out the right answer and getting everybody that's on said commission to believe that that's the right answer. Then, if you think that's the right answer, getting everybody to approve their portion of the right answer, which is going to involve a lot of money, a lot of people, a lot of, I assume, lawyers, if I had to guess, because there's potentially money being taken away from employee. I mean, this is a huge order. This is kind of where we always end up back at on this particular program whenever we talk about the college guardrails everybody talks about. The amount of things, I would just say, the amount of things that have to get fixed. That is, if somebody was to sign up for that job, that's it. That is a full-time thing. I think this commission might be tough to find. I think it's going to be tough to find who's going to want to do this.
I would just say this, Pat. It's a multi-billion-dollar business that is, an extremely important part of the fabric of America when you talk about college football especially, but college athletics in general. And that multi-billion-dollar business sitting here on May, whatever today is, doesn't actually have rules in place for when it's going to essentially restart at a high level in late August. There is not a system and a paradigm set up yet for how this multi-billion-dollar business is going to grow next year. So it's a very weird moment in time.
That's good.
That speaks to how sort of fraught and complicated the issues are.
Paradigm, good word. You've been dropping all codify, paradigm. I love every time I talk to Pete Thamel, I feel smarter. And in this particular case, feeling smart, you got to have the qualified right people in this position too. Because if they don't know ball or the reality of what it is, it's never going to. I hope. Hey, good luck, whoever does this. We need you. We need you. Go ahead, AJ. I think you have something on it too.
Yeah, Pete, what would you say is the most pressing issue that this committee or these guardrails that are going to be put up? What's the most pressing issue when you talk to coaches and administrators that you think needs to be figured out before anything else?
Yeah, it's a really good question, AJ. And I think there's a ton of macro things that need to be resolved, and then there's obviously going to be some micro things. But I think how they're going to treat the athletes moving forward is probably the most vexing issue. I think we all know it's going to get to some collective bargaining moment in time here. And there's a lot of pushback from that, from campuses, from presidents, employee, non-employee, like all those issues. If they're not going to be employees, do they have protections? I think identifying what college athletes are in the future and how they are going to be treated is probably the single biggest issue going forward. And can you somehow fast forward through years of pain, which we seem to be on the precipice of, and get to some collectively bargained solution? I think that would be like the biggest, most complicated macro issue.
For those that are not great with context clues, vexing means causing annoyance, frustration, or worry, which is what he was just referring to right there. And at a high level, the macro views involve a lot of lawsuits. A lot of them. Yeah. When you say taking care of the players, all those players that are making whatever or are supposed to make whatever, and then if they put just this one generation, because the next generation will understand these are the rules. Like it's when there was a new CBA for the draft. Like when AJ got drafted, these rookies getting drafted, never played a day in the NFL, were getting paid more than 15-year vets with their signing. Matthew Stafford got like $60 million or something in 2009, guaranteed. Whenever he was the number one overall pick, it was the same draft class as me. I got $45,000, pick 222. Bought an Escalade, didn't get the money for 3 months, almost got Escalade repoed. But nonetheless, that is a lot of people that are going to be losing money potentially whenever these things come in. And there's going to be lawyers that are going to be like, well, we should definitely think about figuring this whole thing out. Who settles that?
Good question.
Well, we still have to settle the settlement first, right, Pat? And that could come as soon as next week. But one thing I've learned on legal issues, this is from Judge Wilkins' courtroom in Northern California. One thing I've learned about, following enough of these legal cases over the years is they don't tend to happen quickly. But this one seems to be on the cusp. Everyone I've talked to in the industry is waiting for the settlement to happen. I don't think there's a plausible chance that it won't. You do talk to some extremists, however, who are almost rooting for it not to happen, because then they would actually just have to figure out the rules. What the settlement is, it's almost like a 10-year pause to like, okay, we messed up all this stuff in the back. Let's back pay and fix that. And this gives us like rules of engagement for perhaps 10 years. It is the most temporary of fixes. To think again that a multi-billion-dollar business is relying on the whims of a judge in a Northern California courtroom whose rhetoric indicates she probably doesn't have like 98th level like expertise on how college football and how college sports work. It's a really bad place to have your billion-dollar business when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that ruling. Wasn't that supposed to be in April or something? Did that get punted?
So, yes, everyone was expecting to, and quite frankly, the market acted like it was supposed to happen in April. It was April 7th. It was the day of the national championship game. There was some cool kind of confluence of this is the most important day of the NCAA calendar because obviously CFP is not under the NCAA umbrella. And here's this month, but it was just a hearing. It wasn't a ruling. And I think people knew that hearing would give some clarity in the future, but it is given way to more hearings and more filings, and perhaps next week a ruling.
Okay, shout out to any billionaire that would like to adopt West Virginia. It feels like we're going to at least have another season of what it has been, at least another season. Because when you talk about like all we really know from outsiders of the law world is that it takes forever, right? And that like the only thing we really know about, and it's like they're not fast passing college football either for everything else that is happening. It's like this is law, rule of law. I'm intrigued by it all. How does it end up panning out? Because we thought last year it was going to get ruined by everything. And it was big. It was very big. Obviously, the college football playoff, bigger than it's ever been before. People loved the ratings. I think we're up on everything. It's like college football is great. But will it be able to sustain years and years and years like it has with the way it's going, with the who's where, who's what, and then how much everybody's – and does this school's booster not want to do it anymore? So now they fall off. It's like – there has to be something, but there's so many questions. Now, let's talk about the college football playoff. Ty has a question for you, Pete, because there's some lingering change happening there as well.
Yeah, Pete, listen, we've heard that the SEC commissioner and the Big Ten, well, the conference commissioners, what have you, they're gung-ho about, hey, we need a 16 playoff. Now, to the layman, you might think the CFP committees kind of put themselves in a bit of a quagmire here because we were just at a 12-team playoff. Now we're going to 16. Do you envision that this is going to shit at 16 and kind of just stay there? Or are we going to, in 2-3 years from now be saying, hey, we have the NCAA basketball tournament for football. We're going to have 64 teams in here. We obviously know the economics of the situation are at play. So what's kind of your take on this whole, ordeal with the playoff, if you will?
Yeah, Ty, good question. I appreciate a good quagmire, as you know. Yeah. So where we are right now for the playoff is year 13, they call it, 2026. We're going into year 12 of the first 12-year agreement for the playoff. This is the final season. We're going to be at 12, and they've kind of soft agreed to go to 14 for the next iteration of the playoff. I believe it's a 6-year run from 26 to 31. As the discussions have been honed in on that, there's been recent momentum for what was expected to be and thought to be a 14-team playoff to go to 16. And a lot of this comes down to automatic qualifiers. Automatic qualifiers are controversial in some sense because the Big Ten, the SEC, are likely to have double what the Big 12 and the ACC have. So there's been some pushback on that. But as it has gone forward and the conversations have continued, Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti has been very bullish on automatic qualifiers. Greg Sankey, the SEC Commissioner, has been a little more guarded in revealing what his hand is. But the notion that I've gotten, especially in the last week, is Sankey has started to align himself more with Petitti on on the potential of 4, and the compromise of all this is to create more spots for the college football playoff, which is why 16 has really come into focus. Now, what the 16-team playoff looks like, how it goes, how the automatic qualifiers end up being determined. Do you have conference championship games? Do you not have conference championship games? Do you have like a 1-8, 2-7, etc. SEC Big Ten play-ins? Do you have the two teams who the 1 and 2 play each other? They each play for the conference championship game, but are also given automatic bids. How all that gets hashed out, we probably got 6 weeks, 2 months before it all comes together. But I do know this, in the SEC especially, and in the Big Ten too, the coaches are pushing, they want automatic bids, and they are pushing more towards it. And if the SEC is going to go to 9 games, which is appearing a little bit more likely, they want that extra protection, that they don't want a conference loss to X them out. And this would essentially keep the top half of each league in the playoff conversation for the entire year. And Petitti has a background in the NFL. That's always been his thing, to have a Minnesota Rutgers game where they're hovering around 500, have playoff stakes. It's like having the 7-8 Jets play the 8-8 Patriots or whatever in week 15, and there's a wild card bid seemingly on the table.
Got it. Okay. Whenever they think about these college football playoff changes and maybe play-in games and everything like that, do they think about how all the teams that had a bye hated it, right? And that kind of, with how long everything's kind of expanded, and extended. It's like the teams with the bye were not, I think we were all even talking at the time, like they were off for 3 weeks before they had to play a game. They might have lost everything. It seemed like it was rust, not rest, or maybe it was just worse teams, but whatever the case, I think that all kind of was too, I don't think it was beneficial. I don't think it was beneficial. So they're going to have to figure that out if they're adding play-in games. That's another week of a week.
Well, that would be championship weekend, Pat.
Oh, okay. Well, what
there aren't a lot of weeks left on the calendar, and the NFL calendar, I know you guys have talked about this, is, there is some collision and crossover there with that. But it would be, you'd play your championship game and then have playing games that same day, or you would have 4 playing games, could be 2 playing games, SEC and the Big 12. So yeah, inventory is as usual on the spike.
I love it. Maybe they'll spice up that day. Maybe that day gets even more loaded, I guess, right? That becomes a must-watch day like Wild Card Weekend kind of has become for the NFL. Okay, let's talk about some of these teams that are going to make it. Feels like if you got the cash, you got the cash. You're going to be in a good spot. I mean, I just tried to summon a billionaire who still would like to make the offer on the table. If you have a lot of money and you're interested in college football, West Virginia would love to have you. Would love to have you be a part of the Mountaineers. And we're not trusting to climb anymore. We got a hard edge. Okay, we are. We're going out there. We're not climbing. We're trying to go fight some people right now. There's a team though that's going to be at the top seemingly for a very long time because there's a lot of interest around the university. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Pete. Reports are coming out saying that Texas is spending $35 to $40 million on its football team. I assume they're not the only team, but for some reason they're the ones named in here. Are you hearing these are the numbers basically for a lot of these big programs spending money? And did this happen because the hearing got kind of pushed till next week, as you said, and that maybe some money was promised and then all of a sudden, oh shit, we actually have to pay the piper on all of these deals that we made?
Yeah, we are in a quintessential college sports moment right now where everyone is in a hurry to front load. So when the settlement does happen, as we're assuming it's going to happen relatively soon, the amount of money spent against the cap, which is going to come, if you spent it already, it wouldn't count. So there was basically like a fake market, Pat referenced earlier, like April 7th, we need everybody by April 7th. So there was this huge push, both in football and basketball, to get all these deals done. I had agents, I was at a pro day, one of them came up to me, he's like, I've never negotiated with someone before who's like, no, we want to pay you now. No, forget later, we'll pay you everything up front, which is obviously counter to usually how negotiations work. So I think in the realm of like Texas and high-end schools in the high 30 million range, that's not shocking to me. Like that's in line. We were in the 20s last year. So with this sort of window to be exploited, it's not surprising Texas is there. USC is spending a lot of money in high school recruiting right now. They have the number one class in the country, and that's clearly another team that is going all out now until the paradigms are put into place. And in basketball, there's rosters that are in the neighborhood of 20 million. So, and they only have 12, 13 guys on them. So it is a weird feeding frenzy right now that's flying around.
Once again, if you are at a university, this is the time where your alumni to really showcase themselves. And there's a lot of these schools. You talk about USC going. USC wants to get back to the glory days. Remember what USC was whenever they were flying around? Obviously, their alumni want LA to be a USC city and everything like that. Penn State's had to sit, all their alumni, a lot of success. They have the most CEOs out of any university in the country across the business world. Penn State does. I learned that this past year whenever we were up there for game day. All those CEOs get paid a lot of money. People get pissed about how much CEOs get paid, okay? That's like an actual thing. So they all have a lot of money, and they all like ball. Like they all like ball. And their athletic director is like, I've learned this pretty quickly here that everybody likes ball. They were able to just drop, $700 million or something on stadium renovation. Just boom. And then they were able to bid for whatever. It's like these schools that have an alumni that are ready to roll, they're certainly going to benefit from that. Now, with that being said, Ohio State Buckeye AJ Hawk has a question for you, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, actually, I want to know, what do you think the max number is that we see in the college football playoffs 10 years from now? What do you think? Like, are we going to get up to like I guess the other Pete said, a 64-team football playoff eventually?
So if we get to 16 here, which I would say is a high probability at this point, AJ, I have a hard time seeing it jump up from there. Again, there's bracket creep. It's always extended to look back at the history of the NCAA basketball tournament. It's always grown, and there'll be another conversation about it growing next year in hoops. I would think 16, you'd have to stay static there for a relatively short period of time. Now, 20 years from now, I don't know how it all works, but I would think there's already resistance, from going 14 to 16 in a lot of ways. And a lot of this comes down to TV windows, guys. Like we saw the overlap last year with the college football playoff and the NFL, and there's not a lot of places to put these games right now. So the appetite for fierce growth TV wise is likely not to be that high, just because the windows to showcase and maximize them financially aren't there.
College football's got a lot going on.
Yes, it does.
College football's got a lot going on. A lot of big decisions need to be made. Somebody needs to step up and decide them. Now, somebody also needs to step up and be the brand new face of college football. Tone has the last question for you here, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, we talked a lot about the beginning of this conversation about quarterback depth charts and how coaches right now are not going to talk about that. But there are a lot of big programs who do have quarterback battles. Michigan's obviously got one with Bryce Underwood and Mikey Keene, the 5-star coming in there. Oregon's got Dante Moore and Austin Novosad there. Alabama's got Ty Simpson and Austin Mack down there. Have those big schools, have any of them leaned in any direction as far as who's going to be the face of their program moving forward this year?
Good question, Tone. And I think at least two of those schools, I feel like who starts the season may not necessarily end the season, if that makes sense. You mentioned Ty Simpson. I would think he's the experienced, safe son of a coach kind of guy who can roll out there week one. The name at Bama that's got some buzz is Keelan Russell. He was the number one quarterback recruit in the country. Is he the kind of guy that can show the coaches enough where he could eventually end up taking over? It'll be really interesting for Michigan, as you mentioned. Obviously, Bryce Underwood's there. Mikey Keene's played a lot of college football. Yep. You go to Oklahoma week 2. Is Mikey Keene is Mikey Keene the starter there, or do you let Bryce Underwood rip? Remember, there's not a lot of empirical evidence of freshman quarterbacks like leading teams to conference titles. So you don't. And look at Dylan Raiola, for example. Like he struggled at times last year, straight up. So when to break the quarterback in to not curb his development becomes pretty interesting. And I think for Oregon, I feel pretty good about Dante Moore, being the starter there with no super inside knowledge. Oregon had chances in the portal to go get higher end players. They've had Dante Moore for a year. They seem to like what they have there. He was obviously the number one quarterback recruit in the country, coming out of Michigan 2 years ago. Went and played for Chip Kelly at UCLA, and then transferred up there and kind of took a redshirt season last year. So yeah, those are all going to be interesting summer battles that we're following.
I love that you brought up Dylan Raiola, who's a son of a coach. Okay, so he works his ass off. I seen him at Raw the other day in Omaha. Yeah. Looking good.
Strapping.
Big son.
Coach Matt Rule, obviously vibes high, hanging with the boys. And then E-Money, Emmett Johnson, the running back, his aura was immaculate. Like a confidence that, I think you can't teach. I'm high on the Nebraska Cornhuskers after getting a chance to meet these boys and chit-chat with them one-on-one post Monday Night Raw in the back. Now, because I did enjoy the conversation with them for so much, I hit all the traffic.
Sure.
Out of 11,000 in Omaha. Okay, that's all leaving at the same time. So I did think about the conversation we were having while sitting in traffic in Omaha for a good bit there after the program. And I would like to let the Nebraska Cornhusker boys know, I said, worth it. It was cool to meet them. That Dylan kid was great. Like I enjoyed the way he was operating. Like he just has like a star kind of vibe about him. And then E-Money there right next to him, dude, great nickname. As soon as I saw it on his chain, I'm like, E-Money here, dude. I didn't know who he was. I've learned. Emmett Johnson's a dog. All right, I think Dylan Raiola is going to be a star next year. Freshman last year. He said straight up didn't do well.
Exactly.
Guy's playing for Nebraska as a freshman. What?
He's huge.
Listen, I love the hype. You're going to have to do better than 6-6 next year. This is the Big Ten, okay? We're not playing in the WAC. So.
Did you see him at the end of the season?
Yeah, I did. He looked like shit against Iowa.
Okay. Okay.
He actually fumbled, kind of end of the game. Listen, he's a great player.
He learned a lesson.
He did.
He's a young guy. Just wait. Let's see what Iowa is, going forward.
Oh, we will. We got Mark Gronowski. We got the FC.
Oh, I forgot you got Gronowski.
Yeah, we're going to be just fine.
I forgot about that. Yeah. All right. Hey, Pete, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking time. I called you very last minute to join us today, and you picked up the phone and delivered. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, guys.
The authority and the host of the College Game Day podcast, Pete Thamel.
Yeah, Pete.
A lot of words in there out of Pete.
Yeah, holy hell.
It's hard not to hear just Ty. Every time he speaks, it's hard not to just hear Ty.
Well, you should see Ty when he's talking. Ty is watching film as he whenever Pete's on the big screen there, it's just him. Yeah, Ty's like very intently watching. And then you're on the back board here. We can still see you whenever you're not on camera. You're like next to Pete. Your reactions are our reactions at the same exact time. Every single time. Yeah. Okay. Everything you're. I think you even heard us one time into the mic. We had to like step away because we're like, geez, like because.
Son of a coach. What was it?
Son of a coach. That was a good line. That's like a coach's kid, is what I always said.
He said 2 words back-to-back times. I can't remember what they were.
Vexing came out of nowhere. That was certainly one. Codify?
Yep.
Codify was something which I still don't know if that's codify.
Every sentence has a few of them. Every sentence has 1 or 2 words. You're like, wow, I would not have thought that goes there.
That was Andrew Luck, too. There was times where I'm like, my context clues abilities help me out immensely here because some of these people are just speaking a different language,
different words
of the English language, and I don't know them, And I tried to do the dictionary.com word of the day thing, try to get better at this. Turns out I'm not that interested in it. I just stopped doing it. Turned off the notifications. I'm like, this is not helping because they'll give me a random word of the day that I would never be able to put that into my life. But somehow Pete figures out a way to get these words in. And Ty, I think he respects the ability to match them with his brain and his wits. And I enjoy watching it. Literally, you watching film on him is fucking sweet as we go through here. He gave you a lot to work with today.
He does every single time. He's reading these legal speak documents that are 60 pages. So, his vocabulary is better than most, if not better than all. But you get those sweet little moments where AJ is trying to, get a clarification after his question, and Pete doesn't hear anything he's saying. He's so locked in, just completely ignores him and keeps answering the question. That's why he's the authority.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who's a 2-time NBA champion, a former 6th man of the year. He's obviously had an incredibly successful career in NBA. He's also a dog on the golf course. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the Par 3 podcast, J.R. Smith.
Yeah, J.R.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Hey, I watch you react.
What's up with you boys?
I watch you react to the Knicks, obviously. I've heard you chit-chat about it all. Cavaliers, obviously a team that you're close with, also the number 1 seed. They're on a complete opposite end of the spectrum of what's going on with the Knicks. Are you enjoying the playoffs right now? Loving it? How is your vibe towards what's happening in the NBA right now?
It's ups and downs, man. I'm loving it for the Knicks. I'm terrified for the Cavs. Denver's series looks crazy. So I got 3 teams that I'm really pulling for. Obviously, only 1 team can win. So it's going to be interesting. It's been fun so far.
I've enjoyed, recapping. As we heard, there was a chance you would be joining us today, which, by the way, we're pumped about. You need to be talking more. You know that. And
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Especially with just who you are, your resume, everything. And what you're doing, like everything you do, we are massive fans of. You just need to know. All the way back to the COVID times. We are, everything you do, we like. Just you need to know that. So anytime you come out and start speaking, we put requests in. Thank you for joining us, especially in the middle of playoffs and a very busy time for you.
Anytime, man.
You have so much experience in the playoffs and in big games, obviously. Whenever a team's down 2-0, what is the conversation in the locker room? Like right now, what is Boston saying? They're obviously championship pedigree. They're down 2-0. Cleveland, they're number 1 team in the East this year. They're down 2-0. Is there panic? Is there an understanding that there's an urgency that's needed? What is the conversation in those locker rooms?
For a team like Boston, I definitely think there's panic. Everybody's healthy for the most part. They just don't. The ball's not falling their way. They're shooting a lot of threes, and that leaves opportunities for teams to come back, like the Knicks have been. No, not to discredit the Knicks, but it's just certain situations, especially in the playoff basketball. You got to change your style up a little bit. Cleveland is in a different scenario. Darius Garland's out. A big hit of Mobley missed the last game, so active defensive player of the year. So that's obviously going to take some hits to your ego and to your pride, but you got to figure it out. It's playoffs, man. There ain't no excuses. And you got the next man up.
Well, when Tyrese is going big ball of Burton on you, That's tough. In your town, I mean, he's just all over it. What a time. Pacers, we've been able to pay attention, obviously, because we're in Indianapolis. They've been a very good team that nobody's really talked about. And I understand the Cleveland Cavaliers are also a team that was very good all season and not enough people talked about because of the smaller market situation. I assume this series is going to get very, very, very good. We all expect that. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, when you watch this Warriors team, do you think they have a chance to beat the Minnesota? Obviously, without Steph, it sounds like he'll be out this whole series. And what do you make of Draymond's play? And do you think he's going to make it for the rest of the playoffs and not get booted?
I mean, to first answer your question, without Steph, I don't see it happening. They don't have enough people who can create their own shot and get other guys involved at the same time. Steph creates so many eyes on him at one time. It allows a lot of guys to get off, especially with an addition of Jimmy, who's a great two. I mean, he's not a bad one, but he doesn't do anything spectacularly well on the offensive end to where it's like, okay, we can throw it to Jimmy and get a bucket. So he's a great two, but without Steph, I mean, I really don't see it happening. Draymond, I think Draymond could possibly stay into it. It's just a matter of his frustration levels with the team, with the fouls, being in the situation. Obviously, we know he's liable to do anything, but depending on the frustration level and depending on how, Ant can be Ant and playing the way he's been playing, he could probably get under your skin a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised.
Tell me about Ant. I assume you're a big fan of the way he goes about his business. We are. We love the way he plays. I love the way he acts. Now, granted, him taking a victory lap, awesome. Love everything about it. Then as soon as he has a bad game, he's opening himself up to get absolutely murdered. But I think he's cool with that. I think that is who he is. What do you think about Ant-Man? And what do you think about the run he's on right now?
Yeah, I think Ant is incredibly talented. Not only on the court, but off the court. His personality is second to none. The kid is just a complete star. He shines bright in every circumstances of his life. You can see his commercials. You see him on live. You see his playing video games. You obviously see him playing basketball. So, I mean, it's pretty remarkable what he's been able to do at the age he's at. And to see him, I think this is, third year, to be at the level he's at so fast. I mean, literally, I think he's the best shooting guard in the game right now. And we haven't said that about somebody that early in their career since, easily Kobe.
He's old. He feels like an old school player too. Do you sense that? Is that kind of the mindset whenever you gather around all the OGs of the NBA that you chat with, I assume?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's a dog because he wants the not only the contact every play, but he wants that problem, that friction with the other star player, and he wants to guard them, and he wants them to guard him. And that doesn't really happen anymore because we play into so many matchups and load management and stuff like that. It takes away a lot of the man-to-man, ego and pride in the game. So to see him take that challenge head on night in and night out, especially with the Phoenix last year, I mean, it's amazing to watch him and still have that almost 90s type dog in him.
Yeah, you mentioned the Sun series, him and Durant, obviously, and Durant laughing about it at one point because I think Durant also has massive respect for what's going on. All right, let's chit-chat about the playoffs as a whole. J.R. Smith, legend, joining us. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, J.R., it feels like there are some younger teams like the Thunder, like your Cavs, even the T-Wolves have some young dudes on it that almost have inexperience. The Cavs, they were out in the second round last year. Right now they're down 2-0. Thunder were a second-round exit last year, I believe. That series is tied up. How much is the playoff inexperience like a benefit for some teams where, the moment's not too big for them that they don't know it? And then sometimes how is it, almost too much where they don't know how to handle themselves throughout a 7-game series? And do you think either of those teams are trying to kind of grow through that inexperience to get to kind of a more vet level-headed team, similar to how, the Celtics kind of grew over the last 5 years, ultimately leading to the championship last year?
Well, I mean, it definitely plays, being inexperienced plays into it so many times. You just don't know how to finish games. The lights are brighter. The playoff basketball is completely different to the regular season. Every possession counts. When the game scheme and playing, game plan gets tighter around you and what you do and around your team is it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. You come run into some matchups and some series where it's just a bad matchup. So for inexperienced guys to to not understand where to go next with how they, being guarded and trying to add more things to the game while the series goes on, or even just dissect the film. A lot of the seasoned vets, I mean, guys who aren't playing the quote-unquote UDs of the game, the PJ Tuckers now, I mean, those guys are the guys who are really important in film room and communicating, between barriers of coaches and players because they've seen it the most. They understand a different perspective, and they're watching the game from a completely veteran eyes and who played in numerous experiences. So, but the downfall to that is having over experience and seeing too many things and not being able to, and over coaching too. A lot of the guys, especially like Ant, I can see times where he can be over coached to where it's like just they want him to shoot the three more, and it's like his game is way too diverse for that. He can get to the basket, he can get to the free throw line, he can get to the mid-range game. Him to shoot 12 to 15 threes a game is just diluting his pure talent.
Okay, so let's talk about, shout out to Ant-Man being a dog, but let's go to Boston then. What about their team that's very experienced, and then for some reason now, down the stretch, in the biggest moment when you think experience would help you, it's going the other way. Do teams just get cold? Shooters get cold? What happens? You just turn the lights off at the end? Why do you think what's happening to Boston is happening to Boston?
Shooters definitely get coached. I mean, you can live by the three and die by the three for sure. That's really one of my mottos. I love that style of play. Trying to shoot 50 threes a game is definitely up my alley. But at the same time, man, if you're not getting stops and you get long rebounds and you consistently put in transition position, especially being an older team, a younger team can run you out the gym. And a team like when you got guys like Josh Hart and Bridges who really, just get extra possessions and literally wear you down. That takes a toll on you, especially when you lose to it at your home floor. And you see that happen back to back and then coming back from big deficits. I think that can, strike a major chink in your armor. But the only thing about one thing I can say about Boston is they definitely have the pedigree. It's just I don't think it's the lights is too bright. I think sometimes they just overplay themselves. They play the game, or they play the clock and they play the score opposed to playing the game.
That's a bar right there at the end. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You think Boston's going to figure it out, Conman?
Oh yeah, I have full faith.
Still the favorite.
Mm-hmm. I have the utmost faith in the Boston Celtics beating the Knicks in the series.
JR, when you got cold, did you change?
No way.
How did you? JR, did you ever have a streak where you got cold, where you wondered maybe you should change your shooting style or anything like that?
Oh, shooting style, no. I've definitely had streaks where I've gotten cold, ice cold. But I'm gonna shoot. For me, my mindset, I'm just gonna make the next one. And if I miss the first four, I'm gonna make the next six. So I'm gonna keep shooting that thing. Y'all gonna have to take me out.
Ty has a question for you, JR.
Yeah, JR, when you look at the league as a whole, right now, everyone's basically saying, like, hey, Durant is done with the Suns, and then there's been a lot of talk about Giannis being done with the Bucks. In your opinion, for both those guys, what do you think the best landing spot would be for them to be successful if they are both to leave their teams?
Man, I haven't dissected it enough. And honestly, I don't watch enough basketball. I've only watched the playoffs. But I mean, KD can fit anywhere. I mean, he's obviously, to me, second best scorer in the league right now, behind Kyrie. But I mean, he can go fit in any system and play any type of style. He showed us that with Golden State. They played a totally different style of play. So for him, I mean, he can go anywhere. Giannis is obviously. It's a little harder because he's not as well of a scorer as KD, I would say, as far as a shooter. So he needs spacing, he needs shooters around him. But I would love to see Giannis in a big market city. I would definitely love to see KD back in a major market city, whether that be New York or LA or something like that, or even Chicago. Indiana. I don't know about that one. He's a little stretch. But I definitely think that's what the game is definitely missing. And I am happy about the Luka situation to where he gets to a major market to see where his stardom can really go.
How do you feel about Luka and LeBron? Obviously, LeBron comes out on his podcast, Mind the Game, and says, basically says there's a lot to talk about as opposed to just me and Luka taking the full blame on is what the point he was trying to make. How do you feel about that pairing? What do you think about, obviously as somebody that's had success with LeBron, a lot of it, what do you think about the pairing of Luka and LeBron, and how do you think next year is with a full offseason together?
I think it's a great fit. For me, because Bron is where he is and essentially passing the keys down, it's interesting how they will do it in the clutch moments during the course of the game. Three quarters, I think it's easy because they'll alternate on who's on the court and doing what, and because they pretty much, they have a lot of similarities in their game. We're just filling the stat sheet as a whole and playing pick and roll and finding guys. So for me, it's interesting to see it down to the stretch because obviously Luka is a bit of a closer, and LeBron has been there his whole career. So to see him get off of the ball and figure that position out like I was in a lot of the times, it'll be interesting.
Have you talked to him about playing off the ball, being a guy? Because we talked to Rich Paul after it happened, and Rich was talking about how LeBron now can do what he was hoping other people would do. He almost has an advantage becoming the off-the-ball guy because of how ball-dominant he was for so long of his career. Do you agree with that sentiment? And how do you think that plays out in the long run?
100%. I mean, for the longest time, the main knock on LeBron was always "quote unquote" his shooting, and now he's become such a dynamic shooter with catch and shoots and off the dribble shooting. He can really get off the ball. Now, obviously, he was pretty damn good with playing pick and rolls and having the ball in his hands. But earlier on in his career, they put him in those positions mainly because they didn't want him to be a catch and shoot guy. With a guy like Luka, with Bron slashing, backdooring, calling things out from the weak side offensive side, not just the defensive side, I think it's to be pretty damn special.
They say was it the Olympics they were talking about LeBron at the practice?
Yeah.
How is that how he is all the time from what we heard? Practice, we're loud. Yeah. Every minute basically of practice, LeBron is active, vocal, and very communicative about the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. Every practice he's like that. It's pretty remarkable because he's still doing it and still at the level of excitement every single day. And for me, I know I damn sure got burnt out talking to these young dudes, especially here in certain situations, in certain series. I damn sure got burnt out, but I'm glad he still has that joy that he finds every single day to get up and do it.
Yeah, he's just an absolute anomaly. Who knows what happens in the future? He might play with two of his kids he might play with. That's absolutely absurd whenever you tell the story of sports in the history. All right, last question here. Not about basketball. AP Tone has one for you.
No, JR, it's real simple. When are you going to qualify for the U.S. Open? When are we planning on doing that?
Next year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very close to a 0. So when I get on the other side of that, I feel more confident about being able to qualify.
Okay, so I was just trying to look this up. I didn't remember the exact school. North Carolina A&T State University.
Yes, sir.
You went and played golf. Are you still there right now?
Yeah, I got another year eligibility. I graduate in the spring.
Okay, so are you in class right now? Is that where you're standing?
No, I'm in the damn airport, man. They keep pushing my flight back. I'm trying to get to the guard tomorrow, baby. I got to get to the game.
Okay, all right. Well, safe travels. Hopefully, commercial airports and travel certainly care about that. They will get to the bottom of it. They will take care of you. Yeah.
I was watching you on game day, man. Sitting that plane down here, dog.
Okay,
man.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Smith.
Hope he's not flying to Newark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I guess.
Really?
Just outages with air traffic control.
They're so understaffed. Yeah,
That's
why it's delayed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Could be.
Okay.
For sure.
The plane world is crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah,
all the things happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you ever just see like a map of all the planes that are in the sky and then all the things that can go wrong, I assume. We've kind of started seeing there for a little bit, which I don't like at all. It's a wild world. And he has no control over if that plane's taking off in 30 minutes or if that plane's taking off in 10 hours. Mm-hmm. Because it's the flight before, you see. Mm-hmm. And it might be in 2 different cities before it gets to you. And it's like anything can go wrong in any of those places. So fickle. The fact that we had a time where it was like smooth seemingly, that seems like that was out of control for me.
And they also don't give a shit. Like, they probably know right now whether or not that flight is just going to be canceled.
Sure.
But, like, they will delay that thing 100 times until it gets to 9:30, kind of keep you prisoner at the airport, and then at 9:30 be like, it's canceled. We got one taking off tomorrow. Sorry you were here all day. Figure it out.
Yeah, and also we don't have a full plane available tomorrow because obviously there's been seats.
You're on standby.
Yeah, so you're potentially getting there. It's like, okay, all right, yeah, that's good. So what should I...
So do I stay
Well, if you
here?
want to get there, you might want to rent a car and start driving.
Yeah.
I want to hit beat and scratch, though.
Yeah, getting close to zero. One more year left in North Carolina A&T State. Whenever he did that, I thought it was so cool. Like, because he's going back to school, or he's going to school, didn't get, to finish degree, do degree. So goes to school on a golf scholarship, getting good down there.
Yeah.
And now he's getting close to zero.
Those teammates, how sweet that would be.
J.R. Smith's our teammate.
Yeah.
He's going to be captain of this team next
Yeah.
year. He's a senior next year, going to be a captain of the golf team down there, getting close to a zero. He loved the game, right? Before he went to, obviously that's the reason
Did he grow up playing? I don't know what his background was playing golf.
I don't know. I wonder. Guys,
like he and Steph. The fact that he and Steph are so good.
Both good shooters.
Yeah.
Yep.
I heard somebody say shooting a basketball is in the shoulder, like you could tell by loose shoulders, like how are the shoulders going? I wonder if that helps out, like Ray Allen also.
Yeah.
Also great.
Oh, yeah.
Like
That
all
Reggie.
Yeah,
all of them are super smooth too. All very smooth. Swings, shot, all.
Have an incredible weekend. I got a big fight tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
At WWE Backlash. We'll see you for Overreaction Monday. I feel like I really nailed that.
You did.
Hopefully I'm available to do the show Monday.
No kidding.
I know. Shit.
Hopefully I'm available.
Right
Guy's
about
the most
that.
violent champion
You
they
might
got.
be in jail for murder.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that. I realized I started watching, film on Gunther. I realized, man, my voice is on a lot of I've watched a lot of Gunther, I've watched a lot of
way back.
Yeah, from all the way back whenever he was Walter ring around. I've seen a lot of Gunther. I'll tell you what, he is a tough Austrian asshole.
He is.
He is. But you know what? Come get some.
That's right. That's exactly
You're
right.
Pittsburgh Paisan.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough Pittsburgh Paisan.
I got to do what I got to do. Okay, we all understand this. Got to do what I got to do for Michael Cole. I just can't be the person that just sits there and then say like, I'm friends with Michael Cole, and then watch his ass get snatched.
No.
And then
Could've
just
died.
sit there and do nothing. What am I going to do? Just sit there and do nothing?
He's an old man.
Then I got to live with that for the rest of my life? Oh, I just watched Michael Cole get punked out in front of everybody. Never going to do that. Never going to be that. Can't be that person. Can't be known as that person. Now, there are people that potentially don't have the physical stature to be a person that could stand up for a friend. I understand that. But got to be a person that's known for if your friend's going to get punked, you got to show up. Even if you take an L.
Yeah.
That's right.
On film, you got to be the person running towards the fight, not the person staying away from the fight. That is just a must. I think I might have learned that in football. I think I grew up with that mentality, but in football, that I've never seen something more obvious. Whenever the film would be shown of a fight, and our teams that I was on did get into it every once in a while. We were a chirpy bunch. I think we had some of the greatest of all time potentially in the shit-talking world, and there would be a scrum. Nothing ever really, but a couple of times every once in a while, but you can get ejected for the game before the fight even starts. But normally there is a push, shove, yell, maybe a little bit aggressive, and that we would see that. Everybody would see that, and it's like my personal opinion, whenever I saw somebody see it and not move towards it, I was always like,
oh yeah, you're judging. Not even judging. You're kind of making a decision about that person for the rest of their life.
Boom. That is exactly the case.
Yeah.
So if anything was ever happening around me, punter, kicker, whatever it is, I'm bottom of the totem pole here, I would like these boys to know that, all right, I'm probably going to get my shit kicked here, depending upon who this is. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm in it. And in this time, I feel pretty good.
Hell yeah.
He is big. He's a lot bigger than a lot of people. I'm 6'1", put those shoes on, 6'2". I'm 245 right now. I'm like, all the things I'm looking at, it's like, yeah, there's a chance that this goes really bad. There's a chance but also there's a chance that
the big tree
goes really good.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, there's a
really good chance.
Yeah, there's a chance that I saw some odds have been placed on the internet. Okay, that feels good too. I think he's like minus 1,000 or something like that.
Okay.
You're in a great spot. What a good spot
You know
you're
who was
in.
plus 5,000?
Who's that?
Bill Leo.
You're right.
And then what happened?
Yeah, you're right.
That white smoke came.
The CM Pope.
And out he came too.
The CM Pope. Plus 550. Gunther. Minus 1,000. This is from Bet Online, I believe. Can't do this on actual.
Randy.
It hasn't gotten.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know you could gamble on these.
Hasn't got legitimized yet. You would have to find illegal sportsbook, but this is just for fantasy booking purposes.
Sure.
And conversational purposes, things. Yeah, I'm plus 550. He's minus 1,000. All right. I understand that, by the way. If I was outside looking in, I'd be thinking the same thing.
Might have to put the village on it.
You know who else was minus 1,000? Ryan Garcia.
Good point.
And that was the sweet science.
How about that weekend having the least amount of punches thrown in the history of boxing or something like that?
Yes,
that's tough.
That's tough. But they were so good.
It's not what you want.
I think it's because they were so quick. I'm going to want to miss some of his.
Yeah.
Which you will.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, like, does he have any giveaways, when it's coming? And it appears as if there is a little bit of a tell, and it's whenever he does this. There's a big one coming.
Yep.
Okay? So I found that out through film study, detailed film study.
Wait, what's he do?
Right here. He might be standing like this, looking really intimidating.
Okay.
Then he will turn just a little bit like this. And that's not because he wants to give you the side profile, although he is a large man. There's a
winding up.
There's a womb coming. And that thing is shattering.
Yeah.
Been doing a lot of push-ups. Try to build up these pads.
Exactly.
Try to build up these pads. I'm not known to have like the biggest chest in the history of the world. Not really my thing, So I've been trying to get a little, because he could break my entire sternum.
He could.
Oh, yeah.
He could break my entire sternum with the way he does what he does. I know that. You don't think I'm getting ready? Oh, we turned the fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Stick and move.
Oh, maybe foot to the thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Imagine break his little fingies, like he goes to slap you and you kick his fingies.
Big stomp on the finger.
There it is.
Yeah, because hurt is. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey, I like this. This is what Bill Belichick did when he was with the Patriots. He, all the way up till game time, we got film study here trying to figure out what we got to do. Fingies need to attack. Dump that so he can't see this. Dump that so he can't see this. Remember Poirier?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Pull that lever.
Yeah, pull the lever.
Why is this guy laughing?
I don't know.
I am. I'm just thinking of that. I mean, you had him. You did have him.
Well, I was in a big jacket because how cold it was.
Yeah.
But you saw me. I was boa constrictoring. I just didn't get all the way in because he was a guest of the show.
Right.
And then he was gonna steal my watch. You remember?
Yeah, he was trying.
Yeah, I couldn't. Whoa. Imagine how quickly he could have just broke every bone in my body right there. His ears tell me that. He walks onto the set. His ears tell me this guy. Not only all of his fights, obviously, and I'm pumped to watch his final fight down there in New Orleans. But him, he could have just right on television there, 2 broken arms and choked out. Diamond Dust Boy, which is why I'm happy you trained me a little bit.
Exactly.
You're pretty tight with catering, right?
Yeah.
What if they were to bring a big plate of sausage and sauerkraut out during the match, and he was just so distracted?
No, I don't think that would distract him. I don't know if the sausage and sauerkraut would get him. I understand.
Poison and Walter comes out.
Well, I was thinking Visine.
There you go.
Yeah, poison them.
Does that really work to make people dump their pants?
Oh, it worked.
Enough of it.
I don't know.
Like 10 bottles?
You're right. Vinatieri was always like, I don't want to go eat anywhere in the city because all I need is one chef to know who I am. And he doesn't need to kill me or anything. He just needs to make me feel like shit tomorrow. There's a little bit of an advantage.
Laxatives.
It's true.
Maybe we need to call around St. Louis, see if anybody sees her in general.
I think we can
I'm not above taking these steps.
Taking him that.
He's in his prime.
Yeah, he is.
This guy was a world champion, 3 weeks ago?
Violent.
He's the most violent.
Yeah, the most violent you'll see.
He's the most violent champion
You're
of all
right.
time.
by far.
Okay.
Not tomorrow night.
Okay. Maybe
Are
I
you
got
wearing
a little my own. Huh?
Are you wearing the deal underneath your stuff? I remember you said it really pulled you tight.
We'll see. Don't be giving away too much.
Yeah, jeez.
No, we didn't get to see it, but you said your undergarments were pulling up through your, like really putting pressure on you.
Yeah, you're right. I did get a new pair of that.
Okay.
I wish you would have reminded me that earlier.
I should have.
Because I must say Amazon's fast, but there was only limited options when I thought of this last night.
Sure.
I thought of that last night. I was like, oh, yay.
Is it yellow? What is it? What color is it?
Don't worry about it. You're going to be able to see it when you see it. You're going to say, that looks cheap. Okay. Well, it was the only one that was available in less than 12 hours. Okay?
Get it fast. You got to click get it faster. Get it today. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Didn't spend a lot of time on the gear, okay? Strictly because I'm here to fight for what's right.
Yeah.
Working on a body.
Yeah.
Tighter.
Head body. Mixing a head.
Please do.
Bang, bang.
Work the body. You got to work his body. You have to. You got to slow him down.
Yeah.
And then what about when this bad boy comes?
Bang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, work the leg kicks too.
Yeah, Chandler Jones.
Exactly. He's big. You chop that tree.
You could look like Bruce Brown.
Bang.
No, Bruce Brown is the.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
I will need to do one of those though.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, Don't
He's
celebrate
gonna
too much.
swipe right over your head. That's gonna be sweet when he swipes right over your head, and you're gonna stop and pause and look around. He's gonna know he's screwed.
I didn't even think about me actually just ducking right into a total facial of that.
Yeah. Hey, man, you're getting bonked on the head like Mason Rudolph.
Oh, no.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh, no.
Hits you right in the forehead.
It's not giving away too much. Dump all this so Gunther doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Dumped. Dump it all. You see that, AJ? Did you feel that?
I mean, it looks legit. Like, it looks legit.
Did you feel that? Did you feel that?
I did. Yeah. I don't want to eat those shots. No, I'm not taking that.
Absolutely. The issue is I'm doing this. There's nobody on the other side.
Not yet.
Preparing.
Not yet.
Visualize.
He's going to do one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boom. Liver shot.
Oh, there it is. There's that tell. There it is.
AJ, what would you say his weak spot is? Because you guys come from similar descents.
Yeah, what would you say his weakness probably is, AJ, after watching a lot of Gunther film?
Gunther?
Yeah.
Democracy?
Jeez.
I'm telling you. Whoa. I don't know about that. I'm telling you. I think you should wear. Is this a sanctioned match?
Yeah.
But
it's a sanctioned match.
Wake up.
We can still fudge the rules, right? Though, like we can. The ref can turn the other way. Can we wear our spiky chest pad that bloodies his hand early?
So the issue with the spiky chest pad is, I guess others have thought of this in the past against Gunther, and I was told directly that it is in the rule book. So
it's not a hardcore match.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a street fight,
yeah,
I
St.
think
Louis street fight,
that would be the best.
Tire him out. I think you could tire him out and frustrate him. Just circle, jab, and then circle. You could tire him out.
Tire him out. The guy that's in his
Make
prime.
Make it a 50-minute match.
Oh yeah, that's what I want. You're right.
I thought for sure that's what you want.
Yeah.
Look how light you're moving around. You look like Bill.
These are brand new Air Forces too. Shout out to the Dirties. Give me these. They're a little heavier than what I'm gonna be wearing in the. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe I'll wear the rock climbing shoes.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
so I can really be moving with the little toesies.
Yeah.
You know,
you can poke him in the eye with your toe.
Little toesies, especially.
Please do it. Please wear those.
You get up on the top rope and run all the way around the ring a couple times.
No problem.
Because the traction on those.
Yeah, I'll put my. You'll just be so.
He'll have no idea what's going on.
What the hell?
These are all possible, Gunther, if you're watching. Should be. Former world champ. Just.
Are you gonna? Don't punt a. I mean, if you punt another ball into his chest like you did, Mr. McMahon, he might die.
Mr. McMahon did that to me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's move along.
That was a 60.
All right, AJ. Hey, all right, AJ.
Are you okay? You still can't breathe, I heard.
I had a punctured rib cage.
Everything's a freaking joke to you, huh?
Yeah.
I couldn't hit you.
See how quick I am? People
for real. Like, I'm not joking. It looks good. Like, you look good.
Yeah, I just jumped back and forth there 15 times. How many times did it look? 4?
Yeah. 5.
Yeah, that was 15.
I saw 1.
Yeah. And if it looks slow, it's your internet. Okay, fucking figure it out.
Glitching.
True.
All right, we're gonna head into the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend yourselves. Massive lineup tonight in sports, which will obviously set the tone for an incredible weekend. Tonight we got NHL. Tonight we got NBA. Tonight we got Cavs Pacers in Indianapolis at 7:30 on ESPN. Oklahoma City, Denver Nuggets at 10 p.m. back there in Denver. Excited to see how Joker and the boys respond. Maple Leafs up 2-0 over the Florida Panthers at 7 on TNT and True TV. Convenient. Didn't do that to the Pacers. Cavs game 1, I don't know what that's all about. And then game 2, Texas hockey taking on Winnipeg on TNT. Should be a great night. Obviously Friday night SmackDown obviously on. And then tomorrow there's a whole list of shit. Starting at 3:30 as the Celtics take on the up 2 New York Knicks. Both wins coming in Boston, stealing home court advantage of the series against the reigning champions. They'll play tomorrow at 3:30. Then Timberwolves, Golden State, Washington, Carolina, Vegas, Edmonton after an overtime thriller that took place until 2 a.m. this morning. All right, let's enjoy the hell out of all of it. Great jersey on you.
Thank you very much. It's all about the trenches, baby.
It's all about the Campbells.
Mike Vrabel's first pick. That's right. It's
Great
all
number.
about the Campbells.
Oh, the numbers are out, right? In the NFL?
Yeah, most of them.
Abdul got 51. Is that what I saw?
That is correct.
I don't know who that was.
It's always him.
I'm excited to hear the reasoning. Is that always you?
Yeah.
Okay, you're the fart one.
Yeah, usually.
Okay, because you can't. All right, you're the
That's me. That's me. Yeah, sorry, see, you got me.
Okay. And then interesting, people at home probably think that I would know who that is. I do not.
No, I sneak them.
Yeah, it's hard to decipher.
It's on me.
Yeah, it's hard to decipher.
Sorry.
I wonder what the reasoning behind it is. Like, I'll be excited to hear the reason why. Maybe he hasn't selected a number yet.
We got
Maybe
turned down.
Yeah, they change. A lot of the times, like even the rookies will change the numbers after the training camp.
Yeah, so 51 just happened just for this, and then obviously he'll have whatever he wants, or there's a reason behind 51, and that's his thing. But this has been a talking point and has taken away from the fact this dude is a dog. Mm-hmm. This dude is very good at football.
Yeah.
This guy is a stud. We watched his interview with Joe Shane and Coach Dayball and the defense coordinator, I believe, over there, and the answers he gave. Dayball asked him just rapid-fire questions. He's getting rapid-fire questions. And Dayball goes, what's your least favorite thing about football? And he said, I don't think there's anything I don't like about football. Just like immediately back. And then he talked about his game and what he can do. It's like, this guy's a guy, this dude's going to be a stud in the league. 51 don't look bad. Doesn't look bad.
No.
Good jersey swap there. Is this a D-Bone production? That a baby D-Bone. That a baby D-Bone. D-Bone production. And if that's his number, I can't wait to see what he does. And if he changes his number, which at this exact moment in time, before knowing anything, we assume it's going to change.
Yeah.
We assume it's going to change. But maybe 51's locked in forever.
It's a good number.
He's a beast. So is Will Campbell.
Amen.
Right.
I got you. How about the center from the Raiders? Do you see him? Walks up to Ashton Genty. I'm Jackson. I'm your center. He's wearing like Crocs or whatever.
I love you.
He's got those shorts. Yeah, love you.
Love you,
Big
dude.
hug, whole thing. I'm like, I love that. I love that the vibes of that team are probably that exact thing. Then Pete Carroll is in there now. Chip Kelly's in there. It's like all these behind the scenes videos we're seeing from draft and from like first week in the building. Everything's good right now. Everything's good right now. Potential Hall of Famers littered on buses and cars going into facilities right now. Good luck to all of them. All right. AJ, we appreciate the hell out of you. What's this weekend look like? You coaching stuff? What do you got going on?
I don't coach much lacrosse, so that's we got a lot of lacrosse stuff happening. That's this time of year. AAU, all that stuff, basketball.
So you got basketball, lacrosse, Foss. I think Foss goes to 6 soccer games.
Oh yeah.
Each Saturday and each Sunday. Do you follow along with his IG story?
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
He's got 5 kids, I think, and they're all at the age of playing sports.
One of them's a menace too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Absolutely. But it's like, I don't know how parents keep up with that. Since the beginning of time, I have no idea how you have enough time to do all that. So shout out to parents making it all happen. And shout out to all the young kids chasing dreams. Maybe lacrosse Olympians someday playing this weekend.
Lacrosse.
I tell you what, Patty
championship
Spencer.
weekend.
Pat Spencer on the Warriors helps it out. People love that guy. Obviously, he was the best lacrosse player in the country in college.
Is he 61 or something?
61.
Yeah,
it's
which is sweet. Keep it.
It's been joked about, too, by Draymond, all of them. Like, yeah, he's awesome. He's incredible. His number stinks, but he's just rocking.
Needs to keep it.
Yeah, national championship chase that starts this weekend. NCAA tournament for lacrosse. I believe Notre Dame's playing, actually, the Buckeyes.
Ohio State.
Sunday at noon on ESPN, too.
Okay, who's favorite this year? Michigan?
The Buckeyes are the 4 seed. I forget.
What happened with Army? Army didn't get in the tournament. I saw a lot of people, Captain Collins, get mad about that because they're like the number 1 team in the country or number 2 team in the country.
They lost to Colgate. When you're in a conference like that, Fairfield's not in it. When you're in kind of one of the worst conferences, you got to win your conference tournament. And they didn't win. I think
Fairfield was number 1 in the country at some point, wasn't it?
So they never got up to 1, but they were the last undefeated team, and then they lost in the first round to Drexel.
So when you're in a smaller conference, you must win your championship to get in.
Yeah, have to because I think it's only 16 teams.
Got it.
Cornell is your heavy favorite to win the
the Ivy League's back.
Plus 150.
We'll see. This is the convo with the Ivy League. We'll see if they win it.
Cornell, they just had the number 1 pick, didn't they?
Yeah, Kirst, the youngest brother.
Javon?
PLL draft. No, CJ. But yes, the Ivy League, I don't think they've won it since Yale in like 2018. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know it's a big conversation. We've learned it over the last few years following the Kavanaugh boys, through their national championships up there at Notre Dame, and then a conversation about, the ACC, the Ivy League, the Big Ten, everything like that. And they all seemingly take shots at the Ivy League.
Yep.
Because I think everybody nationally kind of thinks lacrosse, we think, a little uppity, which would be Ivy League, I think is what everybody kind of thinks of. In the ACC boys, we got the best conference. And then the Big Ten, I think, they think they have the best conference. It's like lacrosse college. I think college lacrosse is getting better, I think, just from our viewpoint of like watching it. I think there's a lot of Bobby Roode's kid.
Yeah, from Michigan.
Yeah, his kid scored, broke his thumb in his hand in the same game. He scored a game-winning goal or whatever. It's like I followed their season with him. It was glorious. I enjoy lacrosse. Playoffs are definitely much better, I think, than the regular season. It'll be tough to get me during the regular season.
No doubt.
But definitely during this playoffs run, I think I'll watch a couple of these teams have some dreams come true.
Yeah, like Ohio State, they're kind of a new team to be a 4 seed. Like that's very high for a program.
You guys spending money on lacrosse over there?
I assume. I mean, they got a sweet facility now. I've been to games there, and like. Tickets are not cheap. I believe the game is Saturday, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and I got one of my sons is going to go with somebody else. Tickets are not cheap at all. They weren't. So.
Connor's saying it's on Sunday.
I think it's Sunday at noon. I think, but also if he's going,
I actually hope it is. But yeah,
I thought it was the 11th.
If you want to get a ticket, you need to go to SeatGeek, the greatest ticket buying platform on planet Earth and the moon. Right now, use code PAT30, PAT30. You'll get $30 off tickets to any live event, and SeatGeek has tickets to every live event. They have anything you could potentially want to do. They have the ticket for you, and right now you can get $30 off with PAT30. It doesn't matter if you're a new or a returning customer to SeatGeek. They have over 30 million downloads. #1 rated ticketing app because they are on your side. Shout out to SeatGeek. They will actually have a green dot next to a ticket, and it says this is a good deal, or they'll have a red dot next to a ticket, and they'll say it's a bad deal, don't buy this. That's a company telling you, don't do this. Mm-hmm. Green one saying, let's do it. They'll never catfish you, and obviously some restrictions apply on a $30 off thing, like I think if the ticket is less than $30, PAT30 will not work, but if this is for the Cavaliers in the Pacers game this evening, secondary ticket market still available.
Let's go.
$30 off any of these tickets. Go watch your Indiana Pacers and the #1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Kick off a great weekend of sports and entertainment. We can't thank you enough, AJ. You're the man, brother.
Hey, good luck tomorrow night, man. I cannot wait to watch you put all that into action.
Thank you. Me too.
It's going to be sweet.
Everybody has a plan, they say. Until
you kick him in the head.
Boom.
There it is.
Great work in the back this week. Great work to everybody. Thank you all so much. Thank you for allowing us to do this for a living. You're the greatest people on earth. Be a friend. Tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.